Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Welcome, frienders, to our top 10 super on time top 10.
It's our
we can't
blowout
even make a joke about
asshole
it not
extravaganza
being-
blowout.
So there was a Reddit thread on like December 30th said, "Oh man, those top 10s better be coming out like in next day." And I just went in there. It's like, there's no way we're gonna make it this year, and everyone was very disappointed because we're lazy.
Yeah, it's also a matter of do you
we
give a
struggle
fuck?
with this every year.
Speaking of laziness, for most of us, not for Liam, because Liam actually wanted to do it. Hey,
Thank
new
you.
format.
New format.
We're doing it this way this year.
It's got to be this way.
And
It's the only way.
what is this way?
This way, we all got our 10 favorites this year, and we're going to go around and we're going to talk about our 10 favorites.
And I bet there's a shitload of overlap.
And you're going to hear about the Super
A
Best
little
Friends, the best collection. And we will make a nice box art PNG that you can print off and put on your boxes.
Well, I won't. I don't know how to do that.
It would be the same generic box for all your games.
Yeah, Super
That's
Best
cool.
Friends, the best 2014 collection.
It blew out my asshole onto a
Wait.
baby's
I'm not
face
gonna
like
do
you
that.
don't even know.
For matching service, baby's face.
Is that where we're going already?
That baby
that's where we
deserved
went.
it.
Dude,
Did you play some game called Shit on Baby's Face?
Yeah, we
So-
did. It's called Naruto the Broken Bond.
There's a fucking fantastic Bobby Kelly bit where he talks about farting in front of a mother with a stroller and a baby
Yeah,
in
I
it,
know.
and the baby looks like it's fighting a ghost.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's
That's
funny.
good.
Okay, Pat, I'm going to send it over to you.
Oh, Christ.
Tell me about a game you played that you
Oh,
really,
no, he's
really
too late.
enjoyed.
He's too
Oh,
slow
no. Hold
the
on. I wasn't
controls.
even on my list. I was looking at Matt's.
He's
Because
too-
'cause
too
you're cheating.
slow on the
It's-
list.
okay,
You can't
no.
steal my list.
All
So
right.
2014, what was good?
So, I'm just going to fly around here because Liam's isn't in order, so whatever. But whatever. Number 10 is a game that Liam and I both played. It's Ridiculous Fishing. Man.
Ooh.
Man.
Tell me about that game. What is that game?
It's a really good mobile game.
Mhm.
That exists.
What do you do in that really, really good mobile game?
You fish, and then you shoot the fish to fucking death.
Yeah.
Like a badass.
Is it
so you
ridiculous?
pull them out of the water and then
Yeah.
you gun them down
No,
in the air.
it's you can look this up on YouTube somewhere probably, but it's a simple game where all you do is you move left and right with your phone so
Yeah.
that you dodge all the bad parts and get all the good fish, and then after dragging all the fish up on your way up, you have to tap the screen to murder all of them, and you unlock a shit ton of guns, locations, all sorts of stuff.
And
And it's
this-
the best.
This is from the makers of.
I don't know.
This is
All right.
Vlambeer, who did
Probably
Nuclear
right.
Throne,
There you go.
Luftbrowser,
No,
Super
it's
Crate
from
Box.
the makers of I don't know.
Yeah.
So does it have the Vlambeer screen shake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I spoke to them actually, and I recently, and I complimented on them on that game, and they said, well, when we went out to make it, we said we were gonna make the best mobile game.
It's
that's
the-
a noble goal.
So
the
it's good that
fucking shit.
They managed,
And it looks great.
It's
too.
beautiful. Oh,
Like
it's gorgeous.
it's just little sprites, but it's like this hyper hard pastel look. It's fucking
no,
awesome.
it's great. The
I love
feedback loop is so
It's
satisfying.
so good. I beat it.
It's
I
like-
beat
it's
it
like
and got
a-
super disappointed because there's nothing left for me
It's
to
like
do
a
in that
micro Monster Hunter. The feedback loop.
It'd be
Yes.
cool if
Pull
like,
out fish, kill fish,
Get
get
bigger gun.
materials,
Unlock
get
weapon.
bigger gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say there's nothing left to do in
Get
it?
new hat.
Get new hat.
I
Oh,
could
the
get I could get
hats.
higher scores.
Well, maybe they can add some type of micro something to extend the life to
What
keep
about
you
something?
coming back.
What about something bigger? Macro transactions.
Yeah.
No.
Mega
there's-
transactions.
Hey, we got it.
Mortgage your house
We
to
have our
ridiculous.
we have our new business model. It's where we're going to charge you macro transactions for buy to play games.
Yeah.
Right.
But real
Giga.
talk, it has no microtransactions or
Of any
anything like
kind.
that. Just, I believe so.
Yeah, there's
What
no real money. You buy that game and you're
What
done.
a
Yeah.
failure of a mobile game.
Yeah.
It's such a fucking
It's super great.
it's
No,
super
it's
great.
it's really refreshing because I haven't played that game, but whenever you talk about it, I looked up videos. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
No, dude, yeah.
Dude, now that you have a real phone, you should play it.
Yeah,
Sure.
no, it's
I probably
it's
should.
the best time killer. The only game that I play on my phone that comes close is like Super Hexagon.
Yeah.
But that's not
That's fair.
No, it's unfair. You can't compare things to Super Hexagon.
There's something to be said about kill thing to get better thing to kill more things.
Right?
It's
right?
the core loop. It's the core loop
There's
distilled
something there.
into fishing. And the fake Twitter.
The fake.
The
Oh,
fake
I forgot
Twitter
about
in
the
that
fake
game!
Twitter.
Fake Twitter is really strong in anything.
Yeah.
But
No, it
It's
has
like,
a really
oh,
good
man,
fake
you guys
Twitter
hear
feed.
this dude got a big fish, and you just, oh, man,
Whoa,
it's
what a
so-
fish!
Fake Twitter, like Chroma Squad had a fake Twitter as well.
Dude,
that
it's
seems
a
to
great,
be
charming.
it's a
something
It's
great
really good.
fucking
coming
feature.
out.
Aren't you like searching for your dad too? If I remember
Yes,
right.
you're searching for your dad out in the and you know what? You know what,
it's a
guys?
subplot.
You just might find him.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh god, that game.
Okay, that ending has this gut punch
Mhm.
that's really hard and has like. Imagine you played a game and there was only one emotional note in the entire game and it was still like a 9.
That's what
There was
ridiculous
one.
fishing is.
There was
All
one
right.
emotional
It's
note,
really good.
and it's just like imagine you played BMX Triple X, and at the end of the game, at the end of the game, like you photographed
bike
all
was
the
your
titties
father.
to pay for your mom's chemo, and then she dies anyway.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure how
Basically.
much you played BMX Triple X, but I
Yeah.
think there might be something like
Were
that
you
towards
describing
the end.
Kanye Quest there,
Yeah.
A
man?
little
I
bit.
know that ridiculous fishing isn't on anybody's list, but I bet it would be like number 11 or 12 on.
Yeah,
Liam's.
when you mentioned it, now I'm looking at my list and I'm like, close content. Like,
yeah,
that's a
I
fucking
have, there are
good
some
game.
games on your list that would be number 11 and 12 on mine, but
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna pass it off to Matt. Matt, you want to talk about a video game that you like, you enjoy?
I think around my number 10. You
stop.
played it. You sorry?
It stopped.
We had a really sick 2-camera setup.
Yeah,
but
that
was-
shit ain't working.
It was so sick it didn't work and was a huge
It
failure.
was so sick that the camera didn't want any of it because it had to barf.
You got to enjoy
Yeah.
one really good shot of Pat and Matt,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
got
now
a
you
nice-
get
nice
one really
close-up.
shitty
All right,
shot
Matt.
of all of us.
So
Enjoy
I
that.
was passing. We'll change the order after a loop or whatever.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we'll go to you then, and it'll be like this. Yeah, that'll work. What's a video game that you played in the 24? Oh yeah, this is about 2014 right
Yes.
now.
2014,
Right now.
ridiculous
You-
fishing.
We never said the
2014.
year.
Pe-
You
Yeah,
should,
no.
well, the video.
The
probably
video
says-
title.
The video probably
That's
says the
true.
year. Yeah,
Most
Possibly.
people don't look at the video title.
yeah, most
though,
people
so.
just.
I know. I
Um,
click on random videos.
Yeah, I do.
Play-Doh
A
surprise.
game I played in 2014, Pat. I think you played it as well.
No.
Not a whole bunch, but you played with me. Shadow Warrior. Not the old one. The
right.
recent one by Flying Wild Hog.
You got the touch! My name is Lo Wang. Make peace before I turn you into pieces. Mess with the bull, you get the wang.
Yeah, you and I played that a little bit, and I went on to complete it. And I've talked about it on the podcast a bunch of times.
Yes,
but
you
like,
did.
that game is just like its core like gameplay of the slashing with the sword and all the guns that you get.
Mhm.
It's really, really good, and you always have
Yes.
fun with it. But the one thing why this game is like kind of at the lower
yeah.
end of my top 10 is just because it actually it's too long.
It's
It's
too
too long.
This Wang is
Yeah.
too long.
What's
Yeah.
his name again?
Lo Wang.
Lo
Lo
Wang.
Wang.
Yeah.
But
Don't
everything-
you look at anime titties in that game?
Yes.
Yes, you
Old style pixelated
you
anime
look at the
titties.
Yeah.
exact like
Sprite.
sprites from the classic Shadow Warrior,
Yeah.
and something that people are getting excited about now, like with Doom, like a little little details released about Doom recently.
Mhm.
But Shadow Warrior did them, and I think we found one is secrets.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's just secret
Mm.
rooms where the game will morph back into the old game.
Well,
like
yeah,
it'll have
Wolfenstein
shitty
did that
textures.
too, and
It
stuff
did
like
that
that.
as
You know,
well.
like that's a good gimmick.
Yeah.
How much of your love is based on like its treatment of nostalgia versus like new stuff?
The thing about it is that its treatment of nostalgia is basically just relegated to those little rooms.
Did you play the original by the way?
I
or-
played a shitload.
Oh,
of the
you did.
original.
I never.
I was able to get modem deathmatch running on the original
And
with my friends.
Woolie,
I played lots of Wang Bang.
I
Is
can-
that what
I
it's
can-
called?
That's what the match is called.
Fuck.
I
nice.
can answer that to a degree because I never played the original Shadow Warrior, and like that game is badass. That
Cool.
that game, everything about it is just super rad.
Yeah. And like I said, the only thing that happens when I talk about it on the podcast is that as it keeps going on, I actually maxed out everything I wanted to max
Yeah,
out
yeah.
well before the end, and then I kind of got like not bored.
You,
per
but you
se,
ran out
but
of things to
I
upgrade.
ran out. There were more things, but they were like the most weirdest buffs that were so specific, and I was like, I don't really care.
Just
But
one time after you saw titties, you can shoot the
Mm.
gun.
not really. I wish there was
Oh.
something like that. But the only other thing about that game where I'm like, that's why it's the Lord's End, is that it has these kind of similar boss fights where you fight like a giant guardian, and it's like the same type of guardian, just he has a slight different power. One's a bull, so he rams you. One's a kind of a hawk, but he's just this giant. Now they're cool.
Yeah,
because they're Titan size.
I was gonna say at least they have boss fights where many many shooters just don't have boss
I would
fights.
say
bother
the
you.
vast majority of shooters boss fights either don't exist or are fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a bad boss fight brings it down. Sometimes it's
They're
better to
not
not
bad,
have one.
but
Yeah.
aside from their size and grandeur, they're just kind of like
They're just
fun.
there.
But it's not like Human Revolution.
Yeah, it's not. And just like the game like looks like from like an art direction thing, like super gorgeous.
It's
like all the
super
sakura
nice.
blossoms flying everywhere. When you go to like a snowy area towards the end of the game, that like the wind is whipping everywhere and all the snowflakes, and
So
it looks great.
He-
And on consoles though, I played the Xbox One version. That's the version I played, and it runs almost perfectly the entire time, except one area where there was a bunch of exploding barrels, and you're like in this industrial section, and it went to like -10 frames, and like
Yeah.
Started going
I actually felt
backwards.
it crash. I think it was more of a bug and not like
Yeah,
like
probably.
an
Yeah.
issue. But it runs so fast the
So,
entire way. Like
that game
through.
looks so good, particularly on PC, that is the first game that I had to stop using MP4s and like Windows media files.
Yeah.
Because if I did that, there are so many disparate like elements like tree branches and petals and all that shit that when I put it up on YouTube, I had to put that video up on YouTube like 5 times
Because the compression kept
would
murdering
just
it.
shit
right.
all over
Wow.
itself.
Yeah.
It would just die. And then I switched to the format that I use now. But yeah, that game looks awesome.
Yeah.
Especially you go look at our video, go look at the fucking first 5 minutes when we walk through those arches. That's just like that mountain that I went to in
that-
Japan.
that,
Like
like,
that place
spirals
is fucking
around.
rad.
Yeah, and there's a Godzilla cameo in the
Of
game.
course there is.
Oh, wow.
Of course there
yeah.
is.
And I'm really looking forward to the sequel because it's adding Mirror's Edge style verticality to jumping around and things.
Hello.
And yep,
That's a plus.
and like 4-player co-op, which everyone when they look at themselves, they're Lo Wang. But
Yeah.
when you look at your teammates, they're
other
cool ninja
other
designers.
jobbers.
They're all Arno.
Yes, they're all Arno.
Pat, were you
Totally
looking
right.
down and shaking your head at my Mirror's Edge Catalyst
there
desktop
you go.
wallpaper?
He goes, hello, and then I look over and then I look down and I go,
He's just jerking it to
In
fate.
theaters, August 8th.
Yeah.
theaters August 8th.
But yeah, Shadow Warrior, like it's like it's like a reboot. It's a great reboot. Is kind
Absolutely.
of what I'm going for in general, and those are hard to do, especially nowadays. But like they're continuing with it, so it must have been a big success for Devolver. So.
Oh yeah, Devolver, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
because there's Hotline
That must
Miami
be
shit
like-
in the game.
That must be their
Oh,
most
man.
like AAA game.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to pass it off, Matt?
Yeah.
How about we go to Leon?
Round to
So
Liam.
we'll,
No, because like this.
Oh, you wanna go like this?
Because of
It's
that.
the only
yeah,
way to
sure.
make it make sense again.
Yeah.
You did it. Okay, I'm gonna pick off my list. Hyrule Warriors.
No particular order.
Ooh.
In no particular order.
Yeah.
You have no particular order. Yeah.
That's my list too, and I'll just defer to Liam whatever he likes about
Was that
it.
2014?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a while ago, man.
August, I think.
August or October?
September.
Yeah, September?
It was
Okay,
September.
well, in that case, it's not on my list.
But it would be.
But it's a contender.
But
It's a contender.
it was cut.
Same
Oh,
here.
okay, yeah.
Same here.
Right? Yeah.
So it's by Omega Force at Tecmo Koei, and it's effectively a Warriors game. So if you like Dynasty Warriors, you'll probably
You're in
enjoy
there.
it.
Yeah.
So it's a Warriors game with Zelda flavor. It's got a whole story
lot of
mode, with a whole fan fiction story mode with all the characters from many classic Zeldas appearing and doing fan fiction things.
All
I
the
appreciated
Warriors.
the appearance of DeviantArt in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
All the
Everyone
Warriors.
steps in, gets their
Not
cool
all of
moment,
them.
and then moves on to the next
Almost
character.
A
all.
lot of
Um,
the Warriors.
Yeah.
The story's really neat and it's all right, but the real game is when you get to the adventure maps, and that shit goes on forever.
On the podcast, you would like
For weeks-
I
for weeks
stopped
and weeks.
playing Or like I've done everything I want in the story mode, and you always talk about the adventure.
Yeah,
mode.
me and my girlfriend for weeks and weeks and weeks after you guys stopped playing, kept going through. We finished one adventure map, I believe, and the DLC had like an extra 2 or 3. I can't actually remember.
Yeah, I had 2 extras.
That's the crazy thing is that there's so much DLC now. If I go back to it, I'll be flabbergasted with how much is there.
There is
Content
so
will
much
blown up.
content.
I'm the kind of person who plays like Monster Hunter and giant RPGs all the time, and the first adventure map kind of scared me off.
It's terrifying.
Because I played it for like 10 hours and saw that I had done like 10%
Yeah.
of it. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts.
No,
It
it's
was nuts.
incredibly massive, and it's daunting. It's really
It's
daunting.
crazy. But if you want to play that game a lot,
Yeah.
there's a lot there for you.
Definitely, and it's one of the best. I think it's one of the best feeling Musou games as
I
well.
think so.
I've touched them, and you're totally
Yeah,
right.
just whatever it is about the game feel is particularly good. It's
Yeah.
more like Samurai Warriors than like Dynasty Warriors. So
Yeah.
for those of you who know that distinction,
Samurai Warriors rep. Woo.
Woo.
Shout outs to the best Impa design
Yeah, really,
we've ever
really
seen.
Yeah, yeah.
Really,
Well,
really
a lot,
strong
A lot
input
of the
design.
designs in there are the best version. Like that's the
Shout
best.
outs to the best Ganon
I
we've ever seen.
I would say maybe
Ganon's
not the
cool.
best Ganon, but up.
It's up there. It's up
I
there.
have to think about it. hard.
I think we can all agree that's the best Link design ever.
I think it's a really
Absolutely.
good one.
Unless you cheat and say Fierce Deity, but that's cheating. That's not fair.
it's a contender.
Dude, the
It's a contender. The scarf's pretty attractive.
Yo,
Yeah,
what's up, my
I
girl
agree.
Linkle?
Linkle
No!
is Linkle, yeah.
See, that game came out in 2015.
Yeah,
You can't
3DS
talk about
version's
that.
still. No, it's not out yet, dude.
Oh
3DS version's still coming.
man, I'm bad
Yeah.
with years. This listing thing was tough for me because I fucked up and did the wrong years
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
So like, it's a fucking good game. It has almost too much content.
Kind of.
If you buy the DLC, by the way, is fantastic all the way through. It's more characters and
Those new
maps
characters
and
are
such.
tons of fun.
And
Yeah,
there was
they're
free
great.
DLC too. There were like little costumes and
Uh,
stuff that just
little-
came with patches and stuff.
Yeah, little bits here and there, but it was just like, here's a costume where it's Dark Link because we just changed him all to black. But
Yeah, yeah.
but they did it,
They
and that's
did
kind of cool. Yeah,
Asterisk though, you've got to be down for Musou combat.
yeah,
To get into this.
definitely. And if you buy all the DLC, don't expect to finish everything.
Sorry, you have to be down with why are the enemies standing around doing nothing?
Da, 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 da.
Ba-da-ba. They're
'Cause
just staring at me.
They exist to get fucking punted,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's their job in
Yeah.
life.
You know what to me is like, since this is on my list too, I just want to quickly chime in and say,
yeah, of course.
what I think makes the game really good is that if it wasn't Zelda, if it was just Slashman and his slashy buddies,
Yeah.
I still would have enjoyed it because the core gameplay, like the sword play and actually hitting things, feels like
It feels
like
really
this-
tight.
totally.
Yeah,
Like it feels good. If they just swapped out Zelda with any other franchise, and you said you played Dragon Quest Heroes a little bit, didn't you?
yeah, I did.
And you said
Didn't-
it felt similar to
It,
Hyrule Warriors.
it had a
felt
similar
better?
feel, but the core game design was,
It was
very
different.
Yeah, it's
different.
not
It
quite
wasn't
there.
Warriors like
Yeah.
going from base to base like this game is.
But
It was.
but unlike Fist of
more
North Star, which
defending.
I think plays sluggishly and generally
does, yeah.
terrible compared.
That's the one I
to
played the
it.
most, other than this one,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
At, like, so if they just swapped out textures with Berserk with like Rurouni Kenshin,
You're saying
like
they got a winning
anything,
game right there.
They got a winning game right there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know some people are rolling their eyes right now, but the idea that we all think it's great, like, check this shit out if you
Well,
got a
part
Wii
of
U.
the problem is like I hate the Romance of the Three Kingdoms era.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm just not interested in it.
So
Yeah.
like Dynasty Warriors always got like points deducted by being that, and now it gets points added for being in Zelda.
for being Zelda, yeah.
Yeah.
But it could have been like, but this is way better than like Fist of the North Star Musou.
Oh my God.
and Gundam Musou.
No,
and
no,
stuff
those
like
are
that.
trash.
The later Gundam Musos are really good, actually.
But this one's just way
But
better.
Hyrule Warriors, well, I haven't played them all, but I think it's probably
Whichever
the best
Gundam
one.
Muso I
I
played
feel
was
that way.
total trash.
Yeah.
Like
If
oh,
it
no
was
good.
the first one, it
The
was
one that
pretty-
Billy plays, that one's no good.
God, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Journey to
Yeah.
Jaburo.
Anyway, I'll pass it off to you, Woolie.
All
Hey,
right.
Go ahead.
And I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up from there. So I'm gonna start with the bottom of my 2014
Those are good
list,
games on your list.
which is Titanfall.
Control transferring to pilot.
So
Titanfall, cool game.
I brought that to the podcast a couple times because that was my obsession for a brief period of time.
Yes.
Man, oh man.
It's a shame that game is dead now.
Yeah, well, here's what's up, right? So obviously my mecha boner goes off just at the announcement of this title, and yeah, it's right around there. That's where it was, and It was like the first piece of art that I saw where it's like you've got the girl squatting on the shoulder of the Titan. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that one.
You got
Yeah.
me. You got me right there.
But they're not mecha, Woolie.
But they're not
Don't
mecha.
call them
Don't
mecha.
call them mecha. Don't call them mecha. You got me right there on that
Fucking
original
assholes.
piece, right? But now when I pick up the controller, you need to pull me in. So, Titanfall
yes,
was
a fucking awesome
a
game.
fucking awesome game that pulled me in. And like I said, it appealed to that mecha boner that I had, and I fucking like from that original concept art piece, I was like, okay, you delivered on the cool idea of the girl on the shoulder, but where are you gonna go from there? And then you see the footage of like you can mount the enemy Titan and shoot into it, and you're like, oh,
Well,
that's
and
solid.
then you-
and just calling them down,
And then
making the
and then you
Titanfall
see
happen.
the melee kill where you do the Gundam moment where you punch into the suit to kill
and
the
pull
pilot.
the guy
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
so it works both ways.
Well,
and then
What's that bullshit where people are leaving and you fuck them over? Like they all pile into the
so
ships?
the yeah,
yeah.
end of the
That's my
match is
favorite.
not
Yeah.
the end of the match because when you lose the battle, you have to escape in your drop ship.
You have to evac, yeah.
And while you're trying to evacuate, the winning team can pick you off and clear you out for extra points.
Yeah.
and they can double.
It's like it's a
humiliate
victory
you.
lap.
It's not the most original idea because a lot of shooters people become unable to shoot back once the round is won and
Yeah.
everybody gets killed. But adding like a mechanical layer to that where it's a thing, it's not just a video gamey bullshit. It's just like no, we lost. Like when I played that in the episode we did, dude, that's awesome.
They
It's
can
fucking
double
cool.
humiliate you by destroying your dropship.
Yeah.
Oh,
they could destroy the dropship
yeah.
too. I didn't
so
know about that.
fuck
Yeah, that's
killing
what I'm
you,
going for.
fucking
That's cool.
destroy the dropship, and then no one wins.
Can't you call in a Titan to crush the dropship?
You can call in a Titan to crush anything.
Yeah, okay.
That's so good.
Right? And then the clunk of it landing and boom, like that shit is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's satisfying.
I think my favorite animation in that game is mounting a Titan in the air, where it grabs you and
Where it
pulls
grabs
you in.
you, right?
Just
Get
the
in
anti-air,
here.
like
I want it,
exactly.
want
I
it.
saw that.
Get in my chest.
You know,
homies.
so that's the thing is like the clunky shitbot mech combat is it feels as heavy as it should, and it's got all the loadouts and fun stuff that you'd want to have in a game like that. But like kind of like Hawken, right?
Yeah.
But then you jump out and it still feels amazing.
feels as good as Call
Yeah,
of
because
Duty.
they give you the wall running and shit.
Yeah.
And if this game was only on foot, you would still have a blast, And like the wall
Yeah.
running, the double jumping, the different array of weapons and the maps, everything was just fucking on point. The problems came in the fact that there's just, at launch, not enough
It's
content.
just a dearth of content.
Yeah.
Right, story mode was integrated into multiplayer, so you just had to cycle through
Yeah,
the
that
maps
was
to
rough.
get your
That's
story.
rough.
See, that's the thing that caused me not to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'd like to have those two modes separate. And how I always play these things is if I really like the game, play through single player. Now I'll jump into multiplayer. And like, if they were separate, I probably would have. Because when we did the video on it, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
yo,
So it was
this is really good.
It was a bit of an evolved situation without all
Yeah.
the crappy DLC stuff.
That's
but,
correct.
But at the point of like getting you in though, even though that wasn't appealing, just being in the game was so much fun that I fucking
Did you ever get the Japanese voice pack?
100%.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you can set your mech to like nuke on detonation, you can you have a moment where you eject and you're in the air stealthed, and then you can land on the enemies.
Yeah,
like,
Or they can shoot you out of the air.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's so
There's
many
so many
moments.
options.
That
of-
pilot's trying to get away. I'm gonna fuck him.
There are so many moments of like fucking high speed octane
Yeah.
crazy shit, high speed robot action
I'm really
out of these shit bots.
I'm really really excited to see like that series like double down and get more stuff in it.
Yeah.
And broaden out to
Definitely,
like
yeah.
more
It,
places.
it can only get higher on my list from
Yeah.
here.
I honestly like I still am just waiting for a good sale to buy it because since I got my Xbox One, there hasn't been a good one.
Yeah.
Because I only want to play the campaign because I don't want to subscribe to Xbox Live in addition to PS Plus.
Yeah,
And that's the bummer.
That's
It's
that
like
was,
I
yeah.
would love to play it online, but
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $100 a year for online.
I
That's
just do
correct.
both.
You know what I
but
mean?
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I hear you.
but
hear you.
I really want to play the campaign at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Just to play it for real.
Mhm.
so
for
yeah,
real.
that's my 10.
I have another game coming up on my list.
Wait, you have more than one on your
Yeah, I
list?
know.
That's
I
crazy.
know this one's
I
gonna be
didn't
on a lot
prepare
of your
for
lists.
this.
And the problem with this game is I don't know what much to say about it, and it's Guilty Gear Xrd.
Exard.
What do you want?
Fucking killer fighting game that is the most beautiful 2D realization of anything ever in 3D.
The end.
The end.
Hey, can I just point out that at the Game Awards, this game from 2014 was nominated for Best Fighting Game of
Yep, it's
2015 as well?
It's
true.
that good.
Fuck.
It's that good.
Ah.
Hot.
And also there's
Not at all a huge lazy mistake.
also
It was so hype that they had to include it
in that
2015.
as well. There's also the part where it's like, man, Guilty Gear came back.
It did it.
I thought Guilty Gear was dead with all that right stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
you know,
we-
like
we
they
were
don't own the
resigned.
characters,
We were resigned to thinking it would never come back.
and it came back, and it's fucking rad. And oh man,
It
it's
came
great.
back and it confused Epic. They're like, "What are you doing with our engine?"
And Mike Boone's like, yeah, I know how to do that.
yeah.
Fucking amazing.
But
That-
yeah, I don't really have all that much to say about it. Other than it's a Guilty Gear, and it's badass.
It's
awesome, and
beautiful,
it's
it
beautiful.
plays
Daisuke
great.
did it, man.
One of my only complaints with the game was the story mode. Did you try playing the story mode,
I-
anyone?
I
Yeah, I did.
It's a 3-hour movie.
Play.
Yeah, there's no
Oh,
fights.
then maybe I did.
You just watch it.
Yeah,
I don't,
no, there's no
Yeah.
Because
fights.
I remember the Guilty Gear XX series had like these crazy giant story modes.
Yeah,
that had all this
exactly.
custom shit in them.
No, it was a huge bummer. It was like
Yeah.
Soul Calibur 5 story mode without the fights.
Yeah.
But fuck those online lobbies though.
Those online lobbies.
There's like
Amazing.
the-
Arc
all-
System
Arc
Works
System Works
has it
every,
down.
Every
Yeah.
game that they do it, they improve that lobby system in some way.
And they have
It's
the
like,
best one
they,
now.
They up it. They just
Mhm.
crazy it up.
Also, let it out.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Time to realize.
It's a heavy day here.
Yeah. Dude, Heavy Day getting into Super Beat Sonic as well. Like this game makes other games better.
I'm missing my boy girl biking, but Sin Kisuke is a fine replacement.
Mhm.
By the way, I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm checking to see if the games on my list actually came out in the year that I think.
Oh.
Guilty Gear.
All right.
Guilty Gear did. Guilty Gear did.
All right, so I guess
Matthew?
Matthew. This is. I don't know.
This is a tough one.
I don't because I don't know if Pat would like. Pat likes it as well, and I know at least Liam likes it, but I really doubt anyone would ever put this on their top 10. But it's because it was such a weird introduction to me, but EDF 2025.
That's a good
Ooh.
goddamn
Not
game.
Have used the new vehicles ready to go. I'm going crazy just thinking about these prices.
I wish I wasn't colorblind. Crap! That's not all. Order now. The forecast.
Got it!
That's our Lenny.
Limpet Lenny will be back right after these messages.
Day after day, innocent buildings across the country are disappearing. Every 20 seconds, a defenseless property, just like this one, falls victim to explosive weaponry. "843 buildings suffered needlessly during a recent mission, and many more are in peril. But with your donation of $49.99, you can save a structure just like this one. Call 1-855-726-SAVE and save a building in need today. Please hurry. These helpless buildings need you. Help them before it's too late.
.1, and it's weird because I've played 4.1, which is essentially the same game.
I was gonna say this is 4, or is it 3, or is it 4?
Sandlot does not know how to name these games.
not 4.1.
No, not 4.1.
4.1 is an
Four.
HD
This
remix
is
of 2025.
Okay, yeah, then okay, yeah.
2025 came out on the PS3 and Xbox 360 in 2014.
Yes.
And I did play a bunch of it, and this was a thing where I was so sure that after Insect Armageddon, they would stop making EDFs altogether because they're like, oh, this American version
Wes
failed.
doesn't like it.
Wes doesn't like it, but Sandlot makes their games for $1.25, and they do.
Hey,
them.
you know what's in
Insect
that game?
Armageddon was
What's the
just
name
wrong.
of that shit that covers the whole Earth, the whole sky?
Oh, Earth.
The
Yeah,
Planet Killers.
Planet Killers, Earth Killers, or something. It's a ship that covers the sky.
Like the entire skybox becomes your enemy hitbox.
Exactly. Now
fucking shit.
You and I did a video for 4.1, but I played 2025 quite a bit, and I had to tap out because there was this one level I couldn't
I
get
got
past.
to a similar point where it's like, oh my god, this thing is so hard.
It's so hard.
But I still enjoyed my time with it immensely.
And everything about it is just like 2017 was the really basic thing. There was 2-player split screen, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like your single player, and that was it. And this actually has the good features that they added from Insect Armageddon, like the class system and online 4-player online co-op, and all this shit that you're like, how does Sandlot even know how to do this? They barely know how to program video games.
They found these features in a dumpster and they just slapped them in.
If I'm not mistaken, this game too is one of the games where they don't waste frames.
I was about to say, let's not forget that frame rates are currency.
Frame rates are. It's a waste. You could sacrifice a frame for 5 more enemies on screen.
But
if you're running at 60, you're running wrong.
No,
you need to run it
spend more frames
at 14
and
get way more enemies.
The thing about it is that Pat and I both said that if these games ran flawlessly, it wouldn't be our EDF.
It would detract from their weird bargain bin ghetto feel.
Exactly.
Which is that's a weird thing to compliment.
This is a AAA bargain bin game.
Yes.
Please look forward to handheld title My EDF.
It's the ultimate junk food.
Oh yeah, totally.
It really is, because it's also the type of game that when it came out, when it came out kind of in October-ish or something.
In 2014.
God, we should really get the dates down.
But when it came out, it was the type of thing where I played a bunch of it when it came out. Then I went back to it every so often because it's those really 80 million missions, and that's the type of thing where it's a type of game that you have no story and you have whatever.
What are you talking about? The aliens are attacking Earth,
but you're immediately able to just access it and just go in
protect the Earth.
But you don't need to relearn the game that much. You go, which button does what? Okay, ready to go.
Shoot,
and now I can just shoot.
The shoot button shoots.
Yeah, and roll button rolls at a weird angle.
Yep.
So I put that there. Technically, 4.1's not a new game, but whatever.
So
you can put it again.
So I guess you're saying if you want to try this game, just jump to 4.1.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just forget about it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'll always enjoy the Sandlot developed EDF game. So if 2030 comes out in 3 years, it's probably going to be in my top 10, because it's so rare that these keep getting made.
Yeah.
Whoever keeps greenlighting these and bringing them to the West, Exceed especially.
Sandlot just doesn't know any better.
No, it's
don't
got to
know
be.
They put out 4.1 and 2 on the same day.
They did.
Which is what are you doing? But
The
fantastic.
Next one, the next one needs to be EDF 5, and then finally EDF Balboa.
Yeah.
Then giant insects.
Yeah, giant insects. Yeah. 2055.
Creed insects.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Insect Creed.
Yeah, so that's my number.
Whatever. It's
whatever,
on there. We're not
there,
going on that hard.
Anyway.
Yo, Liam, what do you got? You got a good game?
I'm gonna throw one out there. Trigger Happy Havoc Danganronpa. So just the first one, okay? We'll get to the second one later.
The first Grandpa.
Yeah, the
Duke
first
and
one.
Grandpa.
So, Trigger Happy Havoc Danganronpa, as it's called in the West, is a visual novel murder mystery game, I suppose.
What the fuck was that? Just try that again, please.
Is a visual novel developed by Spike Chunsoft.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good catch. I forgot about that.
Motherfucker. Yeah, I know, right?
That's something we're not aware of.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
It takes place in a high school for I guess
Children.
special students who
Special gifted youth.
gifted youth, exactly. These guys are all the very best in their field. So there's the most lucky kid in the world. There's the best doujin writer in the world.
The Ultimates,
exactly.
which in Japanese translate to super high school level.
Super high school level. Yeah, exactly. And it's just a big elaborate murder mystery about these guys are stuck in there, and the only way to get out is to get away with a murder and not get caught, right? So someone inevitably kills someone, and you have to find out who did it.
You're not getting away.
Or else that person gets out and everyone else dies.
Oh no!
Yeah. Japanese closed rule system.
Yeah, exactly.
Story.
It's a death game.
A little bit of battle royale mixed with Phoenix Wright.
Japanese death game. Absolutely.
And this game delivers from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic from beginning to end. The music is on another level. The music's really exceptional.
I will concur with all of that.
I think it's the same guy who did Killer 7's music.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of Smash music and stuff too.
I mean, Liam, you know, when you first told me to go back and just get through that game and then get through the second one, like,
you gotta do those to get ready for the third one.
And they too were like contenders that didn't make it to my list, but
contenders.
But like especially the first one, going in cold, Danganronpa is a fantastic fucking game, man.
Yeah, definitely. Rumor has it it's coming to PC. Check that game out if you like visual novels and you want a good play, because you'll fucking enjoy it. It's a trip.
And like if you stutters, if you specifically enjoy,
you talk for a living, bro.
Like that Sherlock Holmes feeling, you know, solve the murder mystery, and like the twist isn't like it's something that's actually really smart.
The first game totally makes sense from beginning to end.
Yeah, and like
it doesn't fall apart at all.
And the challenge is right. It's like those are not obvious things, but you can solve them if you really think.
Let me ask you a completely unfair question.
Yeah.
How would you rank this up against 999?
Immediately below the 999 and VLR. Immediately below them.
But right below.
Yeah.
Okay. That's still a rising endorsement.
And if you played 999 and VLR, these are different experiences from those as well. Whereas those are like haunting, like figure out how to get out of this place together, really oppressive games.
Yeah.
This game's way more off the walls goofy.
Yeah, even I could tell that it's goofy.
Even though they're in the same genre, I would say they don't directly tackle
they're
the
in
same
different
things.
subgenres.
Because it's also like there's puzzle solving in the Zero Escape games, whereas here you're really just like
Phoenix Wright style
writing
courtroom battle.
You're a piece of shit liar, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
So that's first Danganronpa, super good game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Woolie.
Before we move on, I noticed that did not the second game come out in the same year?
We'll get to that.
Okay, that's okay.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
What do you got?
Okay, so next up on my list is Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Super Smash Brothers for Wii U.
So
what a fucking good game.
So
I'm getting really confused about the years. That came out 2 years ago?
So here's the thing.
Yep.
That was 2014, right? So here's the thing. Like, you know,
we played it at PAX Prime.
Oh my god, you're totally right. You're totally right.
Yeah. And you know, despite the issues that it's got, and
despite the troubles,
you know, there are issues there. We've spent a lot of time talking about them, off camera and on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
And off camera.
I can't pretend that just picking Little Mac and beating the shit out of everything wasn't one of the best feelings I had that year.
You don't have to pretend. It's one of the best games that came out in 2014, no question.
And I mean, it's unfair to count the recent news, but I don't
very
give a fuck.
Unfair. It's so unfair.
I don't give a shit. They added Cloud and Bayonetta and Ryu to the game.
If we had a best DLC category, then you could talk about that. But get that shit out of there.
Right there with Hyrule Warriors.
But there's no roster that even holds a candle to the roster of this game.
Yeah.
You know, and
except for Street Fighter V with Fang.
For years to come. I you know, and like for the brief period that I played the 3DS version, and then, you know, for the brief period that I played the the Wii U version and then kind of like got through all the main single player modes and that, like, yeah, it was a blast. I can't pretend that I didn't enjoy that.
No,
I got
it's
way
great.
more value out of that multiplayer board game mode than I thought I was going to.
I really didn't like that board game.
Well, see,
mode.
I have 2 friends of mine that play this very casually.
Yeah.
And for that group of friends,
It works
like,
out.
They would come over, we would play that for hours. It was a fucking blast because the bullshit would even it out.
The caveat and the reason why it's where it is on my list is because I didn't enjoy it in the optimal way I would have wanted to, which is through multiplayer extent, like mostly, you know, like tons of multiplayer battles, competitive fights and all that.
Yo, if you want to play, I'll play right after this. I'm always down.
But like that's the way I want
to
to really enjoy Smash, and this is the first time that wasn't the case.
Right.
It was mainly just playing online, I
But
guess.
that's
and with,
kind of because of
and
like
single player content. But
your life.
yeah.
Like you're not in college, you're not in high school
That's true.
anymore.
That-
You're no
you know.
longer a basement king.
But I
Basement King.
there are so many characters in that game that I just fucking love using, and they just feel good to run around and jump with.
Yes.
And yeah,
Duck Hunt Dog.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Good choice.
And like multiple times during the reveals, whether it's just assist trophies or like full characters, I get so excited every time. It's like,
there's
they
some-
made the
some
cut.
damn good ones in there.
Fuck
for
yeah,
sure.
they made the cut this time.
Yeah.
So hey, man,
I have
Sakurai.
I have a weird thing on
Hey,
You can't
on
do that.
Smash Wii U where
Don't mock Sakurai like that.
hey, yeah.
when they added Duck Hunt Dog and I see
It's
a
actually
picture-
just Duck Hunt.
when they added Duck Hunt Dog and I saw a picture of them together, like the duck and the Duck Hunt Dog. Like I want to tear up.
Well,
There's a weird thing where I'm like, this dog and this duck are working together.
the part
Solving
that
the
It's
problems.
so amazing.
the part that kills me on that,
Like-
that like hit this part in me that I didn't think I had was when the dudes like the can from Hogan's Alley
Yeah.
attacks you.
yeah.
Like
and
the can from Hogan's Alley exists in a
All,
new video
all
game.
the gunmen too.
All
They
the-
jump
they all
out.
show
all,
up,
all
yeah.
the wild gunmen they show
yeah,
up there.
but the can.
You know, and I mean, there's even the features I didn't really care for, like Mii Fighters. It's like we all thought, why wouldn't you just throw Mii Fighters in the game like this?
yeah,
not?
it's easy.
Well, and its development, it's
Well,
like
a lot of people
yeah.
even thought they were going to be in Brawl
Yeah.
back at the time. Yeah.
Does that game get extra props for its unbelievable like smart use of not making in-game cutscenes but instead making the hypest trailers ever?
I like the trailers. I don't think they hold a candle to Subspace Emissary.
I
cutscenes.
would have preferred subspace style, like
Okay.
massive
Okay.
story,
seeing
crazy mode.
Sheik shatter the R-wings
Yeah,
window
all
and
together,
stuff.
all
like-
together, yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
pro-
they're
the
really,
problem
really
with
good,
that is
Pat.
that
You're
that
correct.
it's incredibly hard to top Subspace Emissary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they
No,
kind of
it
blew
is.
it out the first time.
And they
Yeah.
couldn't do the same thing again.
You should have been
know?
shittier
They-
before, idiots.
They could have.
They probably just didn't have the time and money
Yeah.
to make a Brawl again because that game took notoriously
Yeah.
long to make.
Right.
So-
Also,
Okay.
it's probably because
I
Sakurai is
think,
like,
but-
let me blow it out so I never have to do it again. Oh shit, I got to
Yeah,
do it
I
again.
gotta do it. He did
Yeah.
that like 3 times.
3 times. Anyway.
Fighting robot.
I wish the
Yeah.
I wish the single player modes were better.
Yeah.
Cause like the multiplayer, it's quite good.
Yeah.
The single player modes are dreadful.
Even I found them lacking. And
I
I don't usually dive
genuinely-
into that.
Yeah, I genuinely think they're dreadful.
Mhm.
I think the 3DS version has the best classic mode in any Smash
But
game.
you gotta play it on the 3D. Yeah.
I think the Wii U version has the worst classic mode in any Smash game because you inevitably get to 8-player fights
Yeah.
against 8 CPUs.
You should ask Max how he feels about those.
And it's
Yeah.
no, I watched that. It was incredibly good. Master Fortress is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what though, like you can see the parts where it's like even if they didn't get it perfectly right, their hearts were in the right place with things like Omega mode. Like you know what I mean?
Omega mode's dumb because
The heart was in their hearts were
you
in
get
the
a
right
gold
place.
star. You tried.
they like Omega mode's dumb, man.
Yeah.
They tried halfway because there's stages where you could just remove the hazards,
Yeah.
and it would be fine.
Well, it's
Right.
it's
You
a
know what I mean?
misunderstanding.
But
of the
that's what I mean
desire.
is they
I-
didn't.
I think
yeah.
it's fucked because PlayStation All Stars got that right,
Yeah.
where you could just turn off stage
You
hazards.
should
you
never
know what I mean?
compare anything favorably to PlayStation.
But that's
All-Star.
one thing PlayStation All Stars actually
Yeah,
did
no,
right.
but that's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's a misunderstanding. But they,
It's,
you know,
it's
I'm sure,
like
like-
fucked.
but I feel like if they really got it, they would have like just done that, turned them off, and then keep the
Yeah,
stage
I
layout the
wish
same.
I wish they had. 'cause
Okay.
it was a bummer.
So I have to ask, because this is one of the games on my list that I don't know what all of your involvement is. Did anyone but me put serious time into Shadow of Mordor?
What is this place? Am I dead?
Father! Look at me. I'm right here, son. I'm right here.
How is this possible?
You are banished from death. You're it.
We'll be together, my love. Soon. Forever.
We will be together again soon, my love. What has happened to me?
The curse has bound us together.
And how do we break it?
We find the one who cast it on us.
I finished it. Got all the trophies.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did.
I played the video game with you guys.
Yeah, but that's the only time you put time in it.
That's it. Because
so Liam, that game.
So PS3 version?
No, I played on PC. Obviously,
I played on
that
PS4.
game is the most creatively bankrupt licensed game ever.
Yeah,
it is. We're gonna make Assassin's Creed or Batman
or both.
Yeah.
And what do we got? What do we have? Well, we got the Lord of the Mega Lord of the what? Mega Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, we'll do it.
Like they did. Warner Brothers forced Lord of the Rings War in the North.
Yeah.
That one that was so breaking.
Totally.
It was
battles from the Silmarillion.
It was just like, okay, but we'll let you have that. And Shadow of Mordor, when it came out, everyone was was announced. Everyone was like, "Are you serious?"
Aside from what is possibly the worst final boss fight in like 5 years,
it's just the final boss fight's just busted. Like,
in spite of
too
that,
easy.
Dude, that game is so good.
Yeah.
That game is better than the Assassin's Creed that came out that year and both years back and forward.
Which one was it?
It's better than Black Flag. It's better. It's better than.
Is Kellogg's
I'd say that's a very
Blueberry
different game,
cooler
though.
than Aragorn?
He's all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's basically Aragorn.
Yeah.
It's better than Arkham City. It's better than Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
And that Nemesis system
That's
was
genius.
that is the first time in this generation that I saw a gameplay feature implemented because of new technology. Like that, I was like, "Yo, that's the shit."
When that feature works as intended, and you beat someone up, and then you beat him up again, and then he comes
What's
back
the name
again.
of the cook?
I don't remember.
The cook that kept fighting us?
But when that happens, it feels so good or scary.
At the
or
same time,
whatever.
though, let's be real. I'll never forgive you for cutting out my eye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you for my
Well,
eye.
here's
my eye remembers.
So, some of the selection of lines are way too on the nose. But
the aspect of like there was one guy with a spear that dude, he kicked my ass, and he kicked me ass like 5 times in a row, and he gets stronger every time, and I finally got him. I was like fucking pumped. Like yeah.
He came back.
And then I get to the end of the game, and he's like, "Yo, you thought I was dead? Boss fight with me and the 4 other guys that you hated the most." And that's the game's biggest failure. That moment is the game's biggest failing because
that's where that goes.
Because you walk through those guys like they're nothing. Like you become a more overpowered in that game than almost any Batman or Assassin's Creed game ever.
This.
By the very end of the game, you don't really have to be scared of anything.
Yeah.
But up until there, you get enemies who are like invincible to multiple things, and you're like, what do I even do?
And that second half of the game where you're much stronger, they do a smart thing, and they focus on you manipulating them instead of just beating them all up.
Yeah.
And that revitalizes it. That's super interesting. All those features.
Shadow of Mordor has like a mini sequel inside of it.
Yeah.
Like you get Shadow of Mordor and you play it for 15, 20 hours, and you get Shadow of Mordor 1.5.
Kind of, yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, it's awesome. It's like an old PC expansion pack that was included.
Except for the Beastmaster quests.
Yeah, those are terrible.
On paper, the idea of a custom 4 Heavenly Kings made for you is cool.
Yeah, it is.
But I guess it just in execution.
Well, because when I saw that guy, I was like, yeah. But then because you're fighting so many and it's a big team battle, it's like, well, you have.
It goes pretty well.
You have to be able to smoke them.
It really strikes me if I put like because I have the game. I just never.
You would love that game if you
I
played
probably
it.
really like, but more like I kind of think like I'm not sure how similar you might think to this, but I think you're actually saying this one of my top games this year was the Nemesis system.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
that system could have been in something else,
but.
And a lot of people have said it's really like the game is good or whatever, but that Nemesis system, you put that into this character or this franchise, that would be so
But not
cool.
just that, I think it does Batman's combat better than Batman.
I was just gonna say, like, it has the best Batman combat because it's so visceral.
And so like it
it
feels just as good, and you're moving around. But then the fact that you're murdering them you're murdering them hard,
and it
like
looks
hard.
beautiful.
You feel
when you
bad.
do it.
It makes a big difference.
How good is it at Assassin's Creed wall climbing?
Really good.
It's fine, actually.
It's really good.
It's exactly the same.
One
actually.
might think,
yeah. Like, it's really
God.
good at all of its things, and the world map is smaller. I mean, there's two of them.
Do you remember that story?
I was like,
I've been staring at AC code.
I remember.
I know what it looks
I know
like.
that's that.
That's what we're referencing.
It's really good at doing everything, and the world's smaller and tighter, and the designers clearly really get open world design.
Yes.
Because none of the missions have that, like, besides the creature missions later on.
Oh, they're terrible.
None of them feel rote. Even though you're doing the same things, they all feel really satisfying because each motion is so crisp and good feeling.
Totally, absolutely.
I just kind of
so
hope
tight.
that Monolith, like, because I'm sure Shadow Mordor sold pretty well. Like, I'm sure it was like a success.
It's a great game.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
they would that they eventually prove themselves enough that they can stop working on licensed Warner Brothers like properties and make their own game.
Well, they wanted to do Mad
I'm
Max,
just
so.
desperate to see that system in another game.
Yeah,
I
like No One Lives Forever 3.
I really hope they do a sequel though.
Yeah,
like
or Condemned 3,
or a pseudo sequel with a different license.
Yeah.
I think Shadow of Mordor is the best 8.5 ever made.
Yes.
That sounds really
the most
right.
incredibly strong.
That's
8.5.
a strong argument to be made.
Yeah,
it's a good ass.
Yeah, there
video
might be
game.
other games I'm forgetting,
It's
but
a good ass video
Nemesis
game.
system
good-ass
could be
game,
lifted
yeah.
into any genre if you really think.
All
about
you
it.
need is a game that you can necessitate freedom of movement and a lot of stronger than average enemies. That's
Tiger Woods PGA 2016.
Yeah.
With the Nemesis system of all these women that hate him.
Oh,
I'll never forgive you for putting me in the sand trap.
exactly.
And
And you pick him up and you throw him into the water.
Yeah.
exactly.
And he gets an out of bounds penalty.
Hey Matt, give me something.
Yes!
Give me something.
I don't think I've heard any of you play this. Maybe Liam did a bit, but a game that actually like I was not expecting to like as much as I did has a few problems, but Valiant Hearts.
To my dearest friends, through the evil noise of artillery, tanks, and planes, I remember our adventures, your friendship, and your pain. My closest friend, Emile, in your twilight years, you came to fight. Not for glory, but to mend your daughter's tears. Lucky Freddy, you were always fearless and with intent. I hope you have found peace with your letters that were never sent. Anna, my bravest of warriors across the Western Front, saving the mountain of wounded without firing a shot. And Carl, if only I could light your way home through the fields of war, through treacherous nights, to be with your family once more. Although I cannot write these words, and the time has come to part, your stories will always remain, as will your valiant hearts.
Nope, didn't play it.
I actually really enjoyed that.
I played a third of it.
Yeah.
So.
Because it was kind of like I felt like more of the focus of that year was like, oh, Child of Light or Rayman Legends and everything. And I played Rayman Legends like quite a bit of it, but I kind of got a little tired of it.
Well, and Child of Light was the darling they were pushing.
Yeah, and I played Child of Light. I'm like, that seems fine, and I just stopped playing it. Even though like I liked it, but there's something weird about Valiant Hearts. And one of the things for people that don't know about this game is a game takes place during World War One, and you jump around to different characters and you see the war through the eyes of all these different characters from different countries, especially. And one of the things that like kept me oddly transfixed every time I go to a new time period is you press the button and it gives you all these real world facts about if this is in the game, this is why this is like this. Like, and you pick up, little trinkets and little like war, like, related paraphernalia.
Did you unlock the muskets?
I did not yet.
You're a shit eater.
In fact, Woolie, no guns in this war game.
But there's a bit where you play as Big Bo and you blow stuff up.
It's true.
There are in fact guns in the war game. I know that for a fact.
There's
at the very end.
At the very end, it's true.
There are some guns.
But anytime I'd open up and the music goes to this soft, like little, really like heartfelt, like little melody, and you just read about all this stuff. And even though the game's in this charming art style, it's like nobody like if you know how the art style it is, like a lot of people's eyes are kind of not there, like they're masked, or they have like a cap
or they're
over
squinty
it.
or whatever.
They're squinty, or they have a gigantic mustache.
Yeah,
that kind of, and it kind of the characters are really really expressive, but they're not like so expressive that you're like you feel like you are them, because they're not like really really like they're not Rayman or something. They have big googly eyes or whatever. So you can kind of feel with them while not really feeling like it's a hard thing to kind of describe. And the actual game is just basically like a platformer puzzle game, and it's not hard at all. Like you just go through it, and it takes like a little bit of like, what do I need to do? That's basically it. And I was playing it, and I'm like, this is really interesting. And just as you're getting kind of tired of levels or whatever, you're getting, yes, I understand this guy's mechanic. It moves you to the next one, and you play as a completely different person that has to use just problem solving. Like you play as a woman character and a dog, one of the best video game dogs ever.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good dog.
It's a really good dog, and it's
up there with Huey, that dog, and Koromaru.
Yeah. And
oh no, wait, Huey is that dog. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Rayman
Rayman Legends
and T-Dog.
Rayman Legends and Child of Light all use the UbiArt engine really well.
Yeah.
And I think this one uses it the best in terms of its own setting.
Yeah.
Like it works really well within the context of like European bande dessinée.
Yeah.
Like it looks awesome
as like a
time period.
As like a technical showcase for UbiArt, Rayman Legends kills it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But in terms of like hitting its style dead on the nose, like just like you're saying as a bande dessinée, like it's perfect. You're so right.
And one of the smarter inclusions of it, and it's really hard to do this when you think about it, especially nowadays, is no voice acting. There's little like
really? There's no voice acting.
They mumble.
They mumble.
I didn't. They sim.
They mumble, and they sometimes you can hear like a French word or two, like like you can kind of hear something there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, only Ubisoft gets a lot of deserved and not deserved shit based on whatever practices they're doing that day.
Well, 50% of their stuff is like mainstream whatever. 50% of their stuff is like really cool stuff. Yeah.
It's a good mix. It's
and
a good mix.
This is one of those games where I'm like, I think this is the only publisher that would have done this.
Oh,
like, totally.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no chance.
And
lean a bit more this way, Matt. Just keep talking, but just lean a bit more this way. Yeah, there you go.
He just wants to be close to you.
I know.
Your head was cutting off the camera.
I want to make sure everyone can see those. I don't know what color your eyes are. I'm
Green.
sorry. Okay.
I've only been staring in them for 7 years or whatever.
In the presence of Liam, come on.
Oh, it's true.
Racist.
But no, that's pretty much like my kind of spiel on that. Like it's a very simple game. There's like once you played through it, you might be able to go through and unlock some more like collectibles and read more about stuff, but there's no like multiplayer or anything. But I still really enjoyed the game.
It's a really good one and done.
So was the theme of Valiant Hearts that World War I was a totally easy time for everybody?
Yes.
No problems.
Everyone won.
Everything was fine.
Everything was fine in the end.
The Somme and Verdun didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fun.
It got a mobile port too recently, so if you're out there, you can play it.
Because that would work wonderfully with touch controls.
There's no action or anything.
It's like when you have a controller, you just walk over to a thing and press a button and manipulate. That's basically it. So I'll actually probably get that on mobile, just like to play it again like a year.
Just
or
to
two.
have it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I really enjoyed Valiant Hearts.
Cool, good pick.
I guess
Now it's my turn. I
Yes,
guess.
we're looking. We're all looking at you, Liam.
No, exactly.
Actually, hold on,
expectantly.
Hold on.
Let me see if I can move this a bit closer, because that's the reason why I'm over here. Is because this is as far as it goes.
Sure.
Oh, that yeah.
I don't know if it can move any.
No, that
farther.
No,
Matt,
I had that struggle the other day.
The
You
left
can,
and
actually.
right don't
How?
matter as much.
You can untwist the
This one,
and,
the dial. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then pull it forward.
And pull it forward.
Don't pull it too far, or it'll lose balance and fall over on you.
The leg is in the.
Yeah,
is
me and
underneath.
Oh, it's
me
hooked
and
under
Liam
the thing?
Figured out
Okay.
how to do that.
As long as you keep the leg lined up with the
Yeah,
bar.
it should. Yeah. of
We're
course.
coming up on some games that I'm sure at some point that like no one has played, and they'll get 4 minutes.
Okay.
And then I know the next one I'm going to talk about is going to be like, okay, Pat.
So we look at Liam expectantly.
You look at Liam expectantly.
What do you have to talk
So,
about?
Woolie, you remember in 2014 when I forced my PS4 into your household and I made you play Transistor?
When you speak, I hear silence. Every word a defiance. I can hear, oh, I can hear. Think I'll go where it suits me. Moving out to a country with everyone.
When that
Well,
happened.
Transistor is on my list because it's fucking Marvel. So it's by God. I always confuse them with
Supergiant Games.
It's
Supergiant
super giant,
Games.
not super massive.
Supergiant.
Makers of Bastion.
Yeah, and including former GameSpot editor Greg Savin.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So it's a 2D. Well, 2D. It's a isometric
Yeah.
RPG with kind of like a Parasite Eve-esque battle
It's
system.
the only game I can think of to compare it to.
So the game runs in real time until you hit a shoulder button and it goes into paused time, and you get to queue up all your moves and then execute them all at once, basically.
Yes.
And as you go through the game, you can level up all your moves and make them a lot more intricate. And the possibilities in combat are super varied.
Yeah.
One of the cool things they do actually is when you die, you lose some of your abilities when you go back to the last checkpoint. So it forces you to change what you're doing in order to.
Do they come back eventually?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They just become disabled
for that section.
That's really
Exactly.
interesting. Mix it up, shit.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not going to talk about it because
Of course, yeah.
It needs to be understood that this is the second ranked game for me on my list.
Is it? Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
This was the second best game that year to
Woolie,
me.
like that game's art style and aesthetic was
amazing.
built for you.
Liam, like, of all the great things you've done for me in my life,
Wow.
that was actually
Romantic.
a contender
That like
for the list
Look
of the best
at
things
this.
you have done.
What do you think?
Coming to my house and forcing me to play this game
it
is
was
one of the greatest
it was
things you've ever
designed.
done.
It was prepared according to your tastes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Incredible. Yeah.
Like and
Oh.
and not to sell it short, it's not just designed to Woolie's tastes. Like that aesthetic is killer.
Yeah.
It's fucking
art,
rad.
the music, and the fact that they blend together, the pacing,
Can
the
we just
length.
Can we just talk about the length in relation to the pacing? The game's like 4 and a bit hours long, and it is tight from beginning to end.
Airtight.
There's no loose bits.
Ziplocked.
There's
tight.
there's no bits where you replay it and you're like, I didn't really like this section. It is like flawless
Every
from beginning to
room,
end.
Every fight in every room matters, feels good, makes sense, has a little bit of a twist on it, allows you to express yourself in different ways. Your powers are people that you find.
The voice acting, and when you get to the last boss section and like the lead up to that with his voice, and then when you get to the last boss and fight him,
The people are the powers, are your experience, are your buffs. They're all the same item.
and they
They're-
build the story together
and
as
the
well.
more you find out about the people, the more ways you can use those items, and you use them together.
and the more you use the items, the more you find out about the people.
Every item can also become a weapon. And you can attach others to them, so they have multiple uses for the same object. It's
Just a fantastic,
Oh!
fantastic game. I think it's only on PS4 and PC. But if you want a good ass short game, that's a good ass short game.
You have.
I feel really weird because I played Transistor for about an hour and I was like, wow, this looks incredible. And I just stopped and I have no reason why
I had a
to
very,
say
it
that
just
at all.
ended. Yeah,
I had a very similar reaction, which was weird because I adore Bastion.
Yeah, I adore Bastion too.
And like, it just didn't click for me. At
Ho-
some point,
holy
it was,
shit! Is
That's
the main
fair.
character of Transistor way cooler than the main character of
The
Bastion?
kid?
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
still don't know why.
And
I just didn't continue.
It's because she has a hum button.
there's a button to hold that you can just hum.
it's like the hug button.
and I
from
think, and like, I'm willing
Boys
to
Love.
admit that like it's me.
I think it's me
I'm
too.
wrong.
Yeah, no, and that's fair, totally.
Yeah.
The fact
Taste,
that
you can't account for taste, right? So
You cannot.
Yeah, no
every
accounting for
attack
taste.
is a programming function,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's
But that
written
feeds
that
into your
way.
reboot fetish.
Yes, it does.
the
it's
things,
still cool though.
things
yeah.
Other people have
I'm
that.
just explaining
things
why.
don't have to be a digital world. It doesn't have to
No,
be
but
the
you
digital
like
domain
it.
People like
of superhuman
computers.
samurai cyber squad for me to get into it.
No, but it helps.
It does help though.
Like
No,
this
for
guy.
me, honestly, for me, it was straight up. It was like, "Hey, Red, do me a favor, never let me go." And I was like, "Okay, this game's in. It's
Yeah.
in. It's in. It's fucking."
It has
in.
so many good bits of dialogue. Like when you go to your apartment and you get the pizza and you leave with the door locked.
Yes.
And he's like, "You locked your door," and then he kind of realizes, and they don't say anything about it. But the implication of what she did, I think she locked her door. I can't remember. But the implication of what happened when you leave the apartment is like amazing. I love that bit. The implication is she's not coming back.
Yes. Yes.
And she knows she's not coming
Right.
back.
The other thing is that the
Yeah.
amount of times I've
That's
seen
really early in the
Woolie
game, so it's not like a spoiler.
walk into walls and things at cons when he sees a girl dressed up as Red.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't. Like, we have to just move on because
Yeah.
I won't stop.
Yeah.
It just becomes a Splatfest.
Oh wait, no, that wasn't yours. That was Liam's.
That was
what do you
mine.
got? What
Yeah,
do you got,
exactly.
Woolie?
Go ahead, Woolie. Pick one out.
So what's moving up on mine? The next thing that I want to talk about is Strider fucking Hear You.
This was really close to being on my list.
So that was called Strider Hear You in Japan, right? Or am I crazy?
It was just called
It should
Strider.
Oh, it was just
Strider
Strider in
for
Japan this
Strider.
one? Okay. My mistake.
Because we did Strider week leading up to
Yeah.
it, right, Woolie? And then when we're like, oh man, I hope Strider's even fucking good.
Dude, like, they brought that back and they nailed it out of the fucking park.
And like it was really cool to see that company succeed with Strider and of course KI after.
Yeah,
After they had
no.
like a rough patch.
Double Helix, man, good job on you guys.
They turned it around.
Turned it around. Strider is a game that, like, I don't talk about the original often, but like in
You mean the
Strider
arcade
Week I
release?
did.
That you love it.
But I played the shit out of it, and that's another game that I kind of speed run, but really just shit run.
Mhm.
You know,
Like how I shit run RE2.
yeah, like, you know what I mean. Like I said, I think I forgot what my time was on the Strider Week run, but you can do it in sub 20 minutes.
You were
easily,
satisfied
you know?
enough
I was
with it.
satisfied with it. It was always just the best feeling of jumping, flipping, slashing dudes. I just love that, like, run ninja run kind of feel.
Yeah.
And this starts you off literally with a rolling start, run ninja run moment.
Mhm.
And, you know, and then it just, like, as soon as you get past that first little area, it's like you realize this isn't a
Open-
Strider game.
It's an open world.
This is
game.
a fucking Metroidvania type.
Yeah.
You know? And or whether you want to Metroid type or Castlevania type, I don't know what the
Yeah,
what would you
some-
prefer to call it?
No, that's fine. Like
They get what I
akin to
mean.
Metroid.
no, exactly. It conveys the idea.
Melee 2D Castle Explorer.
Large Castle Explorer, and you know, you have all the mobility and like fun like
you have
slashy things.
you have up to like what actually technically like triple jumps.
Yeah. Well, you get the jump and then the boost
Well,
after.
well,
Pat's laughing at
I'm
me.
just laughing at like I can see the indignation of the term.
No, like
burning in
I'm
his
not gonna
chest.
argue with
nose
it. There's just no RPG elements. That's all.
You're right.
But, yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
No. But the part where it really all came together, it wasn't like the updated versions of like the gravity room and the cool fights that we all know from the previous games. It was when you get that third jump into dash.
Yeah.
That moment meant you could go anywhere on the map and do whatever the fuck you wanted, and it felt great.
Mm-hmm. The moment in those games when your mobility just exceeds the level design,
yes,
and you can go anywhere and you can touch the ceilings in most rooms. That's when it really gets good.
Making use,
I mean, it's always good, but
making use of all his little animal buddies in really cool ways.
Mm-hmm.
Your Strider scarf changes color according to what
That's
ability
like
you're
one of
using.
the coolest things in the game.
You know, bringing back Solo and having an awesome fight with him,
like 3 times.
Telling you about all the other Striders. They just did everything that a Strider fanboy would really want.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's kind of shockingly good, actually.
Yeah,
I think leading up to it, at least for me, my expectation was like, it's gonna be all right, like be an all right game. But it like knocked my expectations out of the park. It was really strong.
And you know, and that soundtrack is one of the best released that year.
Yeah,
It stands on its own.
Very, very strong.
And that too was a really good length. You know, Strider games are usually much shorter than that.
I think it was like 5 hours long as well. Yeah, something like that.
Strider games.
I think that's not even collecting everything. Like,
no,
I think that's
exactly.
the base clear time.
You know, considering the previous entries were 13 minutes and then 45 minutes. Though that tight 5 hours was pretty good.
The Strider NES is very long,
and we're not going to talk
like
about we're not going to talk
game.
about the Genesis game.
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about
You
it.
said too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I liked that game.
Well,
I really do.
Well,
but I also
that's
don't,
all right.
But I also don't care about Strider.
That's fine.
You know. Speaking about so we're going from a game in which I don't have anything to say to a game in which no one has anything to say. So it'll be very brief because Hearthstone is on my list.
It is said that wars are only won upon the anvil of honor.
Others believe victory requires strategy and a mastery of power.
War is deception. A game played best from the shadows. Only strength and raw power can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun! Hearthstone! Heroes of Warcraft.
I hate card games. I hate them. I think aside from Triple Triad, I think they're the worst genre of game ever.
But you like opening new packages.
Not even, man. I've been playing. Like, I'm actually back into it now because the Android
because
version
HOTS
quite
is
good.
pushing you.
No,
Okay.
I always wanted to get back in, and I found some resources to help me build decks.
Sure.
That is just a stellar game, and I don't know if it's the best card game. Like Liam, you would know much better than me.
It's not the best, but it's
the
really good.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
And the presentation is immaculate. Yes, the card opening shit is like, yes, it feels very good. But also, like, I've been playing on my phone recently, which iOS was an option when this game came out, and the way this game uses data is exemplary. Because I was worried that, like, you could never play this unless you're on Wi-Fi. A 20-minute game of Hearthstone takes roughly 200 kilobytes of data.
It's good. It's good optimization.
So everyone can play this everywhere without worry of your fucking data caps like you would with a regular multiplayer.
Worry more about your wallet, I guess.
Worry
right?
more about your wallet.
Yeah.
But also the free-to-play stuff is pretty decent. I'm using a completely free deck, and I'm beating a couple friends of mine that have
some paid stuff,
like $200 worth of value in that game. That deck is kind of rare, and I had to look it up. But yeah, it's just great. I haven't played any of the single-player campaigns even to this day, and I'm going to in the near future. But everyone has told me that those are also fantastic just to play. They have a ton of stuff. I love that game. It's fucking great.
I'm always pretty high on your list.
Yes, it's about halfway up.
Wow.
I'm always gonna yearn for what card games used to be on consoles and handhelds, where they were more than just a card game and they had like a world to explore and stuff. But I can't deny the quality
thing
of
with
Hearthstone's
Hearthstone
core
is
game.
I was talking to a friend of mine just a couple days ago.
Well, your imagination would paint the real card game.
Yeah, but then you play like one of the Yu-Gi-Oh games and you walk around a whole JRPG world.
So
level up your mind.
I was talking to a friend of mine.
You go to the card shop and you buy cards.
About this the other day, and it's with a game with a card game like that on your phone or your tablet or whatever. Like my friend used to play Magic and had the binders.
The Gathering?
Yeah. No, it had the binders, right? You remember those guys?
Yeah.
The binder kids?
Dude, I was one of those guys for a long time, yeah.
But now that has been condensed into your Magic brick, just all of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. That's like you're past Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you're past the fantasy of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even. Because even in Yu-Gi-Oh! They were physical fucking cards.
Well, the fantasy is the projectors.
No. But
we're never gonna get there.
The card game that has all the stuff that you want, but it has no space. Like,
and with that,
it's
my turn is over.
It's like I absolutely love it. It's great.
Good card game.
I wish more people I knew played it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wish you guys played it, but if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. That's just how it is. Hey Matt, you got a game?
I'm like you. I don't even like card games that much. But when we play
I hate
Yomi,
card games.
I like. Maybe I like these. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yomi special.
There's a lot of numbers.
Yomi is special.
Now that we're done not talking about Hearthstone, what you got?
What you got?
Hearthstone, not Hearthstone.
I have something really similar to something I had at the very top of the list, and it's another first-person shooter. This being Wolfenstein.
You know what I love about your.
Nazi scum.
You stayed with us for 14 years.
The Nazis rule the world now.
I'll find the resistance. I'll find them and I'll help them fight.
B.J. Blazkowicz.
I thought I was a goner. And here you are, back from the dead. Ready to set things straight, Wyatt.
We are finally strong enough to strike and set operations. The days of scurrying like rats are over.
General Deathshead is nearer to us now than he's been in years. We eliminate the General, we cut the head off the crowd war machine.
There's one more thing. It's quite critical.
List.
Yes.
Matt has 2 first-person shooters on it.
Do I?
Yeah.
He does.
That should
okay. Matt has,
not done.
Matt has multiple. Woolie has a first-person shooter on it.
That shit cray.
Like,
yeah. Wolfenstein. We did the Old Blood recently, but we also talked about how that was not like Wolfenstein: The New Order. And Pat, you played like almost half of it.
I played about half of it.
I know
Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Liam, you played some of it, right?
I just scraped the surface. I really want to get back into it.
But like Wolfenstein has the New Order has a lot like more interesting. That the level design is a bit better than
it's a lot
New
larger.
Order. It's a lot larger and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna contrast this to what I was talking about with Shadow Warrior, is that Wolfenstein has a very different way in which you unlock abilities and stuff, and it's actually much better. But both games are about the same length. They're about like around 20 hours.
You learn
almost.
things by doing.
Yeah, you learn things by doing, so you get perks and unlock stuff by doing more of that. So if you want to get more stealth stuff with your knives, kill dudes with your knives, and you have to do it a certain amount of times, and each time you do it, you unlock another tier.
I remember those perks.
So good.
Those perks being very substantial.
Yeah, like they're really advantageous after a while. And the other thing that me and Pat talked about in our LP of the Old Blood is that holy shit, you took a nothing guy and made him absolutely as awesome as he could be while still retaining the core tenets of being Wolfenstein guy.
BJ Blazkowicz original variant is one of the most nothing characters of all time.
Also, the fact that like Nazi jokes are funny in this, because
Yes.
Nazi jokes are tired and everything else.
Woolie, did you hear about in the Old Blood? There's a section where we played where one Nazi is correcting the grammar of another.
Why do you always got to
Nazi's?
be like this?
Really?
Why ever? Well, because I care about the sanctity of the language. Fuck.
You're some type of a Nazi.
I don't even want to talk to you. Like, it's great. It's fucking
That's
great.
fantastic.
So, like Pat, you saw, and I'm sure like from the New Order and as well you, Liam, is like the dialogue is like strangely awesomely written.
It's super
Dude,
compelling.
when the
almost
grandpa
poetic.
tells you to kill everyone,
Yeah, no.
he's so good at delivering that line.
The actual in-game dialogue is strangely poetic.
It's
like,
it's
BJ goes on all these weird soliloquies.
It's
that
well
sound
written,
really
yeah.
awesome.
It's in your video that you did, and it's when you go to that painting.
Yeah.
And he says, "General, you waste your paint." It's like,
oh, it's
man.
so cool.
Like,
And,
it's the shit.
Like I said, the game is like almost 20 hours long, and there's actually quite a bit to unlock. You have the codex, which little bits of code that you unlock.
There's the
that
two
unlocks
variants
new
on the
modes
levels. Yeah.
in the thing, and like the game just goes to a million different areas. You never get tired of one place, and you have your central hub, which wasn't in the New Blood, but you must the Old Blood rather. But you guys saw that like it's this cool like rebel hangout. You have all these cool characters with like little side quests in between. You find basically like pseudo other dimension Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
In there, and it's that's what they were going for.
I know you mentioned it during Shadow Warrior, but I'd feel remiss if it didn't get brought up again. When you sleep in Wolfenstein and you get that sick retro game
you
bit
go back
where you
into
play
real
effectively Wolfenstein 3D.
And it's super weird because it's modeled in the real 3D,
Yeah.
but
In the real way.
It's great.
And just the game, like graphically, like it was kind of a cross-gen game. There was 360 and
A little
PS3
bit.
versions,
I think it's a looker though.
But
I
it
know,
looks
it's still-
it looks
it's still
great and
really
it runs
solid.
perfect.
Yeah, and when you realize that, like, you know, in midway game 3, you realize that this is from the Machine Games is made up from former Starbreeze guys.
Was it on 360 and PS3?
I think so. And former Starbreeze guys that made Riddick Assault from whatever, Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yeah.
Right? Which was all the game that was in a prison. And then in Wolfenstein The New Order, you go to prison. And you're like, oh, they're doing it!
These guys know what they're doing.
They're doing their favorite thing again.
And all the sections where you have to pretend to be a Nazi in front of the hardest core Nazis.
Oh, it's great. They're all
You
great.
told me about that sausage bit. I thought it was funny.
From The New Order,
Yeah.
From the Old Blood, fuck. It's very confusing.
There's too many of
I'm
these.
getting confused.
Yeah.
The new hunters.
The new hunters of the Old Blood.
Yeah.
And just it was again another, like, much like Shadow Warrior 1, a very, hey, we're just making a long, satisfying, substantial single player, no multiplayer.
Absolutely. It's
And
very
which I'm always
appreciated.
fine with for the start. Like, nail your game.
Yeah.
And then the second time around, put in co-op or multiplayer, because that's a natural way to extend it the second
Like
time
Metroid
around.
Prime 2.
Yes,
Echoes.
that's
Yeah,
correct.
exactly like that. So I really enjoyed it enough, and I beat it that when the Old Blood came out, and I was like, I need to play this now too, and I beat that as well. And then we did the LP. of it.
New Order is a game I cut off my list.
Right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was on there, and I was like, and I saw a couple ones that are better, and then it had to get cut. But yeah, no, that game's
It's
badass.
a contender.
I also love, like I talked about BJ, I really loved being a hero.
Yeah,
Basically Captain America.
he is an uncynical, like he's an ubermensch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole deal.
He has no moral quandaries. This is from the Old
Oh, I know
Blood.
what he's talking about.
This is from the Old Blood, but there's a section after, like, for anyone that hasn't seen the LP, or for you guys specifically, there's this line in the Old Blood where it's like, oh, BJ, you have to be very stealthy here.
There's a lot of Nazis. You got to be really sneaky.
And then BJ goes, what was that? Oh, I can't kill all the Nazis? I'm going in a tunnel. Kill the Nazis. Got it. It's fucking amazing.
It's great.
Nice.
So good. It's so good.
He knows what he wants and he gets it.
Like, whatever Machine Games makes next, like, I know that Wolfenstein did pretty well.
Are they working on Doom or is that
that's
someone
that's
else.
id internal
that's
or whatever?
people that didn't make Doom are making Doom.
Yeah, well,
'Cause
just like
no
people
one
who
is
didn't
left.
make Wolfenstein.
That's true.
So,
That's true. But I just mean there's no Carmack, there's no nothing
of
this
course.
time around.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever they make next, I'm totally down for. If it's like whatever it is, like I just think when a company nails like atmosphere and characters and story and tone,
everything,
and the
really.
gameplay is just like good to great. It's like I'm always like, what are you gonna make next? Because it's gonna be better. Even
New
the
Order
next time around.
is good enough to be one of those games that the next project they make you can buy on faith.
Yeah, you might be able to buy
exactly,
it depending on what the subject material is. So yeah, really enjoyed the New Order.
Cool.
The old blood.
The old
Order.
hunters. The old hunters.
The new blood.
The new hunters. Okay.
The new old.
The new old blood.
This blood, I got it new, but it's old.
But it's actually old.
It's been
yeah,
aged.
Exactly.
Oh,
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and put Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
10 days ago, we got reports that Paz was still alive. She's being held for interrogation at a camp on the southern tip of Cuba. If she's still alive, we need her on our side. We'll send a chopper from across the Cuban border. The only catch is, you go in solo.
Fine. I like some alone time now and then.
Enter the compound from the south cliff. Secure Chico and Paz, then report back from the rendezvous point.
Chico, where is Paz?
She's dead.
Up there.
I started to
table.
get confused as you said that.
Because you're like, wait, that's the wrong year.
Yeah,
it's not the wrong year.
Okay. You
Metal,
like that game?
Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Did you put more hours into it than almost any other game?
Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is the most overall enjoyable and least regrettable Metal Gear Solid 5 game. No. It's basically it's
He's
a
right.
prologue.
He's completely right.
Kinda. It's a prologue to Phantom Pain. And I would say you kind of need it to play Phantom Pain. Otherwise,
and you don't need Phantom Pain to play Ground Zeroes.
Therefore,
Ground Zeroes is better.
We'll talk about Phantom Pain next time, I'm sure.
I suppose
so.
But
yeah, Ground Zeroes is just a really tight, probably like hour to hour and a half on your first go through of story.
That's about right.
And then 6 extra missions of varying quality, but they're all good.
One of them being like super fucked up hard.
Topped off with Jamais Vu and Déjà Vu
Wacky
that
hitty,
are like
hitty stuff.
Yeah, no, that are fantastic. It's like a micro VR challenges game.
Yeah, I can see
kind
that.
of. And I don't know. I kind of just fell in love with it because the game just plays so damn good.
Yep.
Like it, and I mean, Phantom Pain really improved on the gameplay in a lot of subtle ways, but like playing Ground Zeroes for the first time was like, holy
the thing
shit!
is that
this
Phantom
feels
Pain's,
like the best
Phantom
thing ever.
Pain's like biggest weakness is this game's best strength. That Phantom Pain doesn't have
brevity,
a lot of like intentionally constructed areas
yeah.
for levels, and this game has a fantastic level.
Yeah, Phantom Pain's like a bunch of well-designed spots separated by big wastelands.
Yeah,
right.
No third-person game has had that much control since Die by the Sword.
Arguably so.
We need to play that.
You're just holding on to that for like a year.
Yeah,
you fight like a kobold.
So there's not like a ton to say about it because it's so tight and it's so short.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a fan of Metal Gear, if you've been a fan of Metal Gear for a long time, like you'll undeniably get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Like particularly some of the fan service missions like Déjà Vu are really, really strong. I know when me and Woolie played through Déjà Vu, like it's a riot.
Some good shit, man.
Yeah, all the content in there is fantastic.
One of the things that when I think back on it, and kind of Ground Zeroes versus Phantom Pain is that when you look back on it and you think about what was the main thing that you did in Ground Zeroes, it's sneak onto a giant Metal Gear style base.
Sneak into a base, do shit,
like
get out.
Rosnigrad, like the big shell, stuff like that. So,
and the main thing you did in Phantom Pain is run across the desert to your next mission.
Yeah.
And there was like a really good base in there, OKB0, but
you see it
there's
once.
the one.
But that shows the strength of how well designed Omega Base is and how Metal Gear
Camp
it is.
Omega.
Where if you think about,
Camp Omega.
It's really Camp Omega?
Camp Omega.
It's Camp Omega.
Remember when
because
you
it's
started-
Guantanamo Bay.
Remember when you laughed at me
Camp.
because I said X-Files Base? This is what's happening.
It's okay. I love you.
X-Files Base.
Okay,
It's fine.
So,
It's fine. Don't
so
worry.
the Metal Gear base.
Yeah, Metal Gear base. Yeah.
It has no Metal Gears in it. It just sticks out in my head now. Looking back on both games, you just go, "Oh man, that would have been awesome if it would have been put in the main game."
I remember Omega Base more clearly than any location in Phantom Pain.
Yeah, barring OKB0 and like a few scant other spots that I've like been through so many times, totally.
Very memorable.
No, it's just such a tight game, and I don't know. Like I really appreciate when a game is tight and it doesn't waste your time.
What was interesting though, for me, a large part of Ground Zero's enjoyment was like there are more mechanics here than this area needs.
Yeah,
and a lot of my excitement was anticipation for what was going to come.
Mm-hmm.
So
and when you got to, I mean, we'll talk about it next year, I'm sure. But when you got to the Phantom Pain, and that was kind of all. Well, I mean, you got the buddies and stuff, but
I fucking loved it.
No, it's
spoiler
a
alert.
great game.
I like Phantom Pain.
Don't you
but like
fucking asshole? What you do?
You get to Phantom Pain, and like the relative amount of mechanics to content ratio in Ground Zeroes is like gargantuan, and Phantom Pain, like as you go through the missions that kind of start to repeat themselves and stuff, you kind of realize like, yeah,
There's a lot of chaff in that game.
there's a lot of chaff in that game.
Well, yeah, and I think that the same can be said really for like most games where they advertise a giant map and like open world missions that you can just keep doing.
Not all games.
You're gonna run into that.
It's very hard to justify having an open world with like with repeated mission designs in like almost any title. So,
Totally.
Much less in a title that used to be like the master of like
focused hallways. Yeah,
controlled cinematic hallway.
Definitely.
So.
Can you build this map with Legos?
Yeah. Anyway, I think when it came out, its biggest issue for some people was the price. Now the game costs like $5 every other Friday.
I thought its biggest issue for some people was Tape 9.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no. For the people whose biggest issue was the price, they don't know about Tape 9.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they didn't play it.
Price doesn't matter anymore. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just a glorified demo, as some would say.
It is a glorified demo, but it's a fucking hardcore awesome demo.
Like, if it was really just the one main mission, sure, I'd say maybe it is a glorified demo, but just like ignoring the 6 other missions is really reprehensible considering how good that
I don't even
content
know
is.
how to, like, because I could call it a glorified demo, but you have to emphasize how much glorifiedness is there because they glorified it a lot.
I think it's closer to Case Zero than it is to a demo. Like if a demo is on the left,
that's
Case
a good
Zero is on the
that's a
right.
good
I think
comparison.
it leans towards Case Zero.
It's a pre-LC.
Maybe so.
I've never heard that
Maybe
one.
so.
I've told you it before. You forgot.
Regardless of what it is, it's really good, and it's not in Phantom Pain. So
there you go. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, Woolie.
What you got?
So next for me, moving on up. Hey.
I bet we know what.
Hey.
What's up?
How about that Dark Souls?
All right.
How about it?
Dark Souls 2.
Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Dragon Lake.
about it.
Yeah. So before we continue, I should mention I put Dark Souls 2 at number 2 on my list.
It's up on my list too.
That's a good goddamn game.
So
Bye, Matt.
Gonna head it off at the pass.
Matt liked it when he played it.
Introduce this.
The amount I was able to play by myself, I liked it.
Yes. Yeah.
Gonna introduce this.
Do the jump attacks though,
and remind anybody tuning in that it doesn't usually tune in that Dark Souls 2 was my first foray into any Souls game.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that the consensus appears to be that it's the worst of the Souls games.
That is
series,
a very strong consensus. Aside from that one crazy group of people,
it is still a fantastic video game as a person who has no context.
Yeah,
even the worst Souls game was still good enough to be my second game of the year.
Yeah.
So
anyone saying it's the worst Souls game, fine. Anyone saying it's a bad game, crazy.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
Crazy.
No, it's because the things you're comparing it to are like the best.
So my reasons why they're not self-explanatory, but they're well chronicled.
Yes, yes, they are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not much else I have to say here that you couldn't see from that LP.
For you, Woolie, the biggest thing is that you have a strong aversion. Like we talked about, one of the reasons Transistor's so big for you is because of the aesthetic, right?
Yep.
Like you have a very strong aversion to like classic fantasy Western aesthetic.
Yeah, in fact,
very strong.
My ignorance led me to believe that when Demons and Dark Souls 1 came out, that they were just like EverQuest.
And
I was just
like
totally
these
wrong.
games are technically in that subgenre of art style, but they're so goddamn good about it.
Mhm.
They're so fucking rad.
No,
man.
There's no reason why I should be excited about man in armor with sword and shield.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that.
Very few companies have been making man in armor with sword and shield for as long as From Software has.
Yeah.
They've got it down pat.
And on principle, I'm so bored of that in general. But man, these fuckers got it right.
They got it good.
And when it's like man with sword and shield, but shield is a mirror that summons NPCs and summons humans to fight you.
Yeah.
And a sword is giant fucking fume sword that is
made out of smoke.
Which is all stuff that when Woolie or I would look at via screenshots or whatever, you couldn't tell.
No,
those were details that you had to see when you actually played.
Yeah,
and really understood
the move sets that flesh out those characters' personalities. Absolutely,
and then the fact that it's boss fight focused, and you've got like slow, precise combat. Tons of defensive mechanisms.
It's the moment that I made you before we started the LP, and I made you pick a different weapon.
Right.
And you realize that it's like you changed into a different character in a character action game.
Yeah, like these games are doing something completely different from other third-person action games out there. And I think that first video of like Best Friends Versus or whatever that we did, it shows because Matt and I started playing it like as if it were just a third-person action game, and it's totally not.
Yeah.
You really do have to treat it like you're playing like Super Meat Boy almost, with the level of like, fuck, I can't make any mistakes.
Delicacy.
Here. Yeah. So yeah, I just had a blast on that, and the moments of just cinematic awesomeness were cool. Falling through the world into the fire area in the DLC campaign,
the Ivory King.
Yeah, all that stuff, and the other bit with these Souls games that I just wasn't really prepared for is how the lore, by not telling you what's happening, your brain assumes it's good.
Yeah.
And even if we're wrong, it's still so much fun to poke around. At it. Yeah.
It's like that whole journey thing or the Shadow of the Colossus thing where when we don't fill in the blanks, your brain does, and your brain assumes the best.
Yeah. And it turns out really well. I actually think that Dark 2 is only second to Bloodborne for storytelling. It sure as fuck kicks Demon Souls ass in storytelling. I don't know if you remember, Pat, in Demons, when you boot that game, there's a fucking video that just tells you what's happening, like an opening cutscene that's super shitty. And Demon's story, like whatever, who cares? I think Dark 2 did a really good job with its storytelling.
Okay. I will disagree in the strongest terms.
What I mean by that is I don't mean necessarily. I still think Bloodborne does it the best. I don't mean necessarily that it is the best story. I mean it's easier to understand than Dark Souls, and you get a similar result to Dark Souls. Whereas Dark Souls is a lot more obtuse.
I want it to be obtuse, so
sure,
like,
no, that's fair.
Since we're on the opposite side, like we'll have to disagree.
And in that sense, like Bloodborne succeeds even further because it's still you still have to pay a lot of attention, but it's understandable as opposed to many people will finish the game without getting any story from it. Because I know a lot of people got no story from Dark Souls when they finished it.
Good. That's awesome. Like
that's subjective, but yeah. Anyway,
for me, like Dark Souls 2, like it's another one of those, and even quote subpar, where I don't even know how to phrase it, it's still amazing. But there is one thing I can say about it, that it is by far, it blows all the other ones out of the water. That game is like 3 times as long as all the other games, and most of it, like there's a couple areas that I would just cut, like the forest and stuff like that, because they're trash. But most of it's really good, and it's gargantuan, especially with the DLC. Those DLCs they are great and worth it.
I was really surprised at how long the game went on for.
And then the DLCs are like as big as other games.
Yeah. I'm still not used to like the idea of like games that hate the player in general, you know what I mean? Like besides the Yari Komi stuff and the specific games released into that niche, it's kind of like this game is designed in a way where, again, if you come at it just having a previous video game experience, that's not going to help you.
I'm going to put a guy behind this door and it'll hit players in the back.
You might never level up because you didn't see that lady over there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that bit. Yeah, I remember that.
Things like that. It's like it's just so nuts. And then like the only real thing to hold your hand a little bit is other players' vague messages, you know, which might be bullshit. It's
just a great formula.
And fun.
Yeah. Really good game. So
really
I guess I should point out we're all talking about the original and not Scholar of the First Sin.
I have not. I put a little bit of time into it, but
yeah, I don't think me or Woolie played Scholar
and also
of the First
Scholar
Sin.
didn't come out in
2014.
No, but I'm just saying, if you want to go out and play it, our thoughts are reflected on the original because Scholar has remixed enemy layouts. I can't say for sure on that one.
I can't get a straight answer as to which one of those is better, and I'll have to do it myself.
Okay, so well, there you go.
Like I saw Slow Beef not understanding how to download what and what.
I saw Max get confused about which one to get as well.
I mean, if it amounts to a master quest, it's got to be pretty close.
No, like everyone seems to say it's really good, but I just genuinely
when I
don't
get
know,
that urge again and there's no Souls game around, it's right there for me.
No, me too, exactly.
There you go.
Because the next game I'm going to talk about, I know for a fact none of you played it at all.
You just said that for the last 3
7 games.
Well,
that's okay. That's okay.
So you don't have to keep prefacing that. Just
let him dream. Let him dream.
Well, no, it's because it's the #1 game on my list. But I know none of you have even like looked at it in person.
I know which game you have on your list, and you showed me a little bit of it. When
you did. I did,
and that was about it. It crashed multiple times when I was over.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it? Oh, I don't like because when I played through it, it never bugged out on me.
It was something like it was before.
But it's Shadowrun Dragonfall. Is like everything that those old isometric RPGs should be.
You mean the first-person games?
No, I mean
that were released?
No, I'm talking about the CRPG era of like the 2000s. That game, like the strategy is almost as good as like FFT. The dialogue is fantastic. The Shadowrun setting is the fucking coolest.
It's like super hard, dirty cyberpunk, right?
With magic.
Yeah, with magic. That's true.
Right?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So you have a bunch of shit. It's like, oh, here's the cyber dwarf reading your arcane runes
now,
and all that crazy shit.
Is this one better than the 360 one?
The one that I referenced.
No, it's not better than the 360.
So the thing is that Shadowrun Returns came out, and that's a Kickstarter game, and so is Dragonfall, and Shadowrun Returns was pretty good. It's a good game, but it's nothing special. And then Dragonfall came out, and fuck, that is a giant improvement in every way. It's astounding.
Is it a direct sequel, or is it?
It's an expansion, isn't it?
There's no sequels.
Okay.
They're all like...
Just takes place in the same universe.
All the stories, like, there's a lot. Runners are basically mercs, and you're in a different city, and you're a different person.
Okay.
And this particular city has a dragon problem.
Cool.
And just the like a
I
lot
hope
of
these dragons fall.
A lot of games have like complicated moral systems, and a lot of games have like branching paths and stuff like that. And this game doesn't quite have that. Instead, all it has is, boy, you need cash. There's a problem, and you need money to get a computer guy. Basically, you need a computer man to do data retrieval on some disks.
And that's like the only thing is just get money?
And I need cash.
Yeah.
And most of the game, and this is where the strength of most of the game is not the main plot. Most of the game is side quests and jobs.
In order to get that cash?
And you need to, like, these jobs are near universally dirty. And you're not a bad person. You're not amoral. But you need dough, man. And you are constantly given the choice of, well, you gonna do the fucking job and get paid?
Or you're gonna do the right thing.
Or you're gonna do the right thing. But there's a bigger problem. There's a bigger problem that's bigger than this mission. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than this. So it's like, how much dirt are you gonna do to solve the real problem? And the answer for me was all of it. Do all that dirt. Like, man, that is one of the most tragic stories. There's a cyber... You go in to get an experimental weapon type in this game because this corp has created this amazing like robot soldier, and this thing is going to revolutionize the future of standing armed forces. And some black box dudes want, like, hey, we want to take a look at this. This thing will be the shit, right? You go in, and it's not a robot. It's a cyborg, and it's an unwilling cyborg.
I don't wanna.
That has been brain implanted to shit and is in constant racked pain, but has no ability to move their body on their own. And once you open their comm link, they're just screaming for death the whole time. And you get to the bottom of the building, and you're in the basement. And you got two vans. You're gonna put them in a van with a decent corporation. You're gonna put it into a van which is basically the Illuminati, or you're gonna blow them away at the time to ease their suffering, and just be like, well, I guess we'll get a limited contract. Nah, send that dude to the satanic Illuminati. Fuck that. I need money, man. I need that cash. It's really sad that you're on an infinite suffering loop here.
But I need to do this.
But I need dough, bro.
Yeah.
I need it.
Need it bad.
And there's also a side quest in particular later in which it's a heist in which you play a character that is hacking through cyberspace at the same time. That is fucking rad. It's fucking rad. And probably the ending is also incredibly strong. Like, a lot of these games have really bad endings.
Yeah, some things like that, like, you know, Deus Ex, Human Revolution stuff, where the endings are not, and you need to stick your landing when the entire game has been like
every game should stick its landing.
And,
so
part of the reason it's very strong is that you're given it's kind of like Deus Ex in its ending. You're given wide-ranging variable control. And I did what I thought was best, and I had a lot of like, a lot of games don't give you enough information. You get a lot of information to make the decision that you make at the end of Dragonfall. And then someone came up to me and gave me one little piece of information, and I was like, oh.
This changes everything.
Oh, man. And it's something that wouldn't be commonly known in that universe, but it is. It is part of the history books, and your character is just ignorant and it feels bad. It's like, oh no.
But like big enough to change your mind.
Totally, I would
Cool.
completely have changed my mind. It's one of the best types of those games ever.
Cool.
It's so good.
Who's that by again? Is it Hairbrained?
It's Hairbrained.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
right.
Hairbrained.
I just realized the reason why you skipped everything in between was because of the overlap.
Yeah, no, everything between 5 and 1 is on all of your other lists. That's why I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now I have all my non-overlap games out of the way. See? And I prefaced them all because it's appreciated.
Matt, what's
by
up?
me?
What's up?
I
have 3 other games that I'm pretty sure we don't have overlap, but Hyrule Warriors was one of them, but we already talked about that.
It's true.
The next one I have is the third first-person shooter
Wow.
on my list.
Wait.
Take a stab.
Which
Battlefield 4.
Yeah, no, but it is another 4. Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 4. Okay. Oh.
Petrified, thinking I'll call you out by my side. Spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew stronger. I learned how to get along. Love gave me strength not to hold apart. Tired of million pieces of my broken heart. Spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high.
Oh yeah, you did play this game a bunch. I
Just-
forgot.
I've never said this before, but
Damn.
I think
You
the
got
video
us.
I had the most fun making.
I
in a
feel like
long,
you
long
tricked me.
time Was the co-op Far Cry 4 video I did with Pat? That was like we didn't communicate while we were playing. We didn't have headsets because that would have been a mess.
But it turned out great.
edit, but holy shit, did we have? Or I had a lot of fun.
There's a wide gulf on
of
experience.
emotions going on in that, but I didn't play that much of Far Cry 3 at all because I was just like, I started up, I didn't like the setup, I didn't like the characters you were, whatever, and then I just moved on straight to Blood Dragon.
Once I got past Voss, my desire to play that game died.
Right. And I just moved on to Blood Dragon, and then for whatever reason I was like, I'll try Far Cry 4 because when I saw the whole like Tibetan aesthetic and like a energy tiger meets energy elephant, and I was like, what is this? This is so much cooler. And like I think we said in a podcast before, I like the resurgence of alpine, snowy, mountainous areas coming back in some games, like Rise of the Tomb Raider, some other things.
Sleeper cultures.
Sleeper cultures. You've talked about it before. And when Far Cry 4 really started hammering that home, and I was like, oh, okay. And when I started playing the single player just to check it out, I was like, hey, I actually like this in like the amount of like lore that's getting invested. You're this guy that used to live here, used to be part of this whole like culture, and now now the situation's completely changed. There's this crazy asshole that's running everything. And then when you start working for these freedom fighters, very early on, you start getting presented with like what Pat's saying before, how much dirt will you do to get results in this war?
What's the dude's name?
The character you are?
No,
Amon. Oh God, I forget his name now. The guy that Troy Baker plays.
I don't remember either.
That guy's a no.
He's a good villain.
I mean,
though.
there's the lady and the guy on your team.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you meant the main bad guy.
That guy's a piece of shit.
Because that guy is like, no, don't.
Pagan Min?
No, Pagan Min. That's
the
guy.
That's the guy
Yeah.
on your team
who's with you.
There's two people, Woolie, that are presenting you with moral choices, and one is like, get the dirt to get the fucking thing done.
One is
so we can do the war.
One is an idealistic guy who wants to go back to 1,000-year-old cultural norms that include a bunch of dark ass shit, and the other's like, you know what we should do? We should become drug dealers. We should start opening plantations, and those are your moral choices. Like backwards regressive society in which everyone's got a caste system basically,
or horrible news society,
or horrible news society built on drugs. But whatever, man, pagan min's gotta go down.
It really does. And you'll do like the thing, since I mentioned I didn't play 3, like I played about an hour or two of it, and I was like, that's fine. And so I did not get burnt out on tower climbing.
Cool.
So for 4, I was like, no, this is fine. But, you know, I can understand. That's why I'm glad there's not really any tower climbing in Far Cry Primal coming
It's good to play one of them every once in a while anyway.
So I didn't mind it too much, but I can see how it would get annoying after a while.
You know what's great about Far Cry 4?
What's that?
It looks like the area, the location is a million times more interesting than a tropical island.
Way more interesting than a tropical island.
Which is a shame, because when you think tropical island, you're like, yeah, that could be really cool, and then it just kind of wasn't.
I know, pretty mountains.
Wasn't
but
that
then
interesting?
You factor in like fucking Crisis games that had a lot of tropical environments as well, and original Far Cry.
The first Far Cry,
Far Cry having the balls to go to the settings that Assassin's Creed won't.
Yeah, it refuses to. The thing that really strikes me about Far Cry 4 is that I remember, much like Bloodborne, I remember starting it up at like 11 a.m. And then someone going to me, maybe vaguely, it could have been my wife, I don't know, and she might have gone, "I'm going out." And then she said, "I'm back."
I remember them telling me.
And then I said, "What? You just left?" And I looked up, and it was 7 p.m. Because
the next week.
Because the thing about these that, you know, I'm not sick of yet, but again, there is something on literally every point of the map, and then I've unlocked something, and I feel getting fooled by this loop of, no, now I have the holster that I made out of the crocodile dick.
Now I need to do more stuff. There's stuff everywhere.
There's stuff.
I need to make the number go higher.
I need to make I really want that shotgun thing. Oh shit, the shotgun can shoot one more shell if I kill this amount of pigs.
It's worth it though.
Die, pigs.
Yeah, and
Stampy.
And then I go, no, I can't get fooled. Let me just do the single player missions. Don't get fooled by all the side stuff. Oh, look at that fucking parachute
so I can kill
there.
way more of these birds, fish, if I just shoot a grenade launcher into the lake.
Exactly. And all of this gets wrapped up in the aesthetic I much prefer, like the Tibetan thing, and the little rock climbing stuff that they added.
Which animals do you get to be buddies with again?
Elephants.
You get to ride elephants.
Yeah.
And
set
there
them
was
loose, and jaguars.
Jaguars, yeah.
AKA
but you don't get to ride.
Blood dragons.
Well,
they're your buddies, right? Your strikers.
Yeah.
They're basically, like, you can, you know,
birds attack people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could be just like running up and down a mountain, and a bird just shits on your face.
Huge eagle.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
How was the flying contraption thing, the little helicopter thing?
No, Pat used that in the.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like,
I always wondered.
Like again, everything about it was fun. I remember when me and Woolie watched a trailer, like the newest trailer for Far Cry Primal. I just saw Woolie, like, his eyes progressively got bigger. Like, well, you can do what? What's this? And he seemed like he'd be interested in doing that sometime when that comes out.
I don't know if you used it, but didn't Far Cry 4 have that sick thing where, like, players could download a version of the game where they could play co-op with their buddies without owning the game?
Yeah, without owning the game.
You could not play on your own, but if your buddy was playing with the game, you could play co-op with them without owning the. You don't own the game though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Share play,
effectively.
Yeah.
But you just download it and saved it once.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, dude.
What a sick feature.
I know it's on the list, and I'm definitely going to be going back. But like, first I have to find out the definition of insanity.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No. Far Cry 4 completely supersedes and replaces the need to
You
play
need
Far
to
Cry 3.
maybe watch the cutscenes of Far Cry 3.
It is the same game, but better in literally every
then
way.
I need to fuck shit out.
It's
and
like,
then
imagine
I'll become a kid.
Imagine Assassin's Creed games had no continuity, and you were saying I have to go back to Assassin's Creed 3 before I play Black Flag.
Or Woolie, you could just start Far Cry 4, beat it in about 5 minutes, and get the alternate ending, and just go, I beat it, full OP done.
Gotcha. I think I'm just gonna. I know it's not a future one, but I'm gonna wait for Primal because I don't know. I saw it at PSX, and watching people playing it, I was like, that looks pretty good.
It could be very good.
Yeah. So I'm
so
keen.
yeah, like that. That is my favorite first-person shooter that I played in 2014.
I'm surprised you had so many. That's good. That was a good turnaround. I got another one. Next up,
you have another one?
I got.
Is it a good one?
I got 5 more. I think this one was a good one.
Wow.
Next up on my list, I have Toukiden: The Age of Demons. which I think Pat played.
I played a lot of it, but not. I played a lot of the demo, and then the real game came out, and I just.
That's fair.
It just didn't do it for me.
That's fair. So it's it's unabashedly
Monster
Hunter. And there's some I don't like the expression Monster Hunter clone because like hunting games is a great subgenre, and games like Soul Sacrifice are really different.
I agree, but this is
a Monster Hunter clone in the same way that Sengoku Basara is a Dynasty Warriors.
It's
clone.
overt.
Were there hunting games before Monster Hunter?
Phantasy Star Online.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's as close as it gets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
other
then,
games have had that like feedback
because
loop.
when necessary, like it's okay. Like roguelikes, that's a fair name considering rogue.
Yeah.
You know, but you know,
no,
okay.
Monster Hunter clone's stupid because then like why would you say first person shooter when you should be saying like
Doom clone?
yeah. You just go back.
Well,
all the
there
way,
were
right?
a bunch of games called that.
There were. That was the thing people said.
In the
Yeah.
modern era, you say a Call of Duty ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it's a really good hunting game that is like unabashedly like Monster Hunter like.
Yeah.
And
it comes really close.
Comes really close. And basically what it is if you really like Monster Hunter or the feedback loop there, but you don't quite like the speed of Monster Hunter, which is to say really slow.
That's correct.
Toukiden's the game for you because it's Monster Hunter
like,
plus speed.
And you like samurai shit.
And you like, maybe you like samurai shit. It's by Tecmo Koei. They love Japanese samurai shit.
Get enough of it.
Yeah. So unlike Samurai Warriors and stuff, this one's a lot more fantasy. I mean, those ones are like, you know, history all-stars, right? But this is like actually fantasy. There's demons and stuff like that.
In fact, that's what you're hunting.
That's what you're hunting. It's the Age of Demons. And
Hate those guys.
That's pretty much what it is. It's a hunting game. If you know how Monster Hunter plays, then you know how this game plays.
It's like 90% of the way
You fight
there.
big monsters. There's some
You cut
really...
their limbs off, which is a really cool feature.
Yeah.
Total hours?
Sorry?
Total hours?
For me?
Yeah.
On the Age of Demons, 80. On
Kiwami?
Kiwami, I think 120. Really, really fucking good game.
You just getting started.
You
I guess.
still
It's super
somehow
good.
spent more time playing
Ground
Ground
Zero,
Zeroes.
yeah, somehow.
Like for
I did,
the amount
yeah.
of time that could be put into it.
I think
like,
Ground
you know
Zeroes
what
I did
mean?
like 40 or so, but like
that's more to me.
That's everything.
Than
That's
120
100%.
Yeah,
hours.
don't put your result for Ground Zeroes on how long to beat. You'll screw it up.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. No way. There's not much to even say. 'Cause it's just Monster Hunter, but different. It's got a really good skill system, actually. That's really cool.
That's cool.
You get to equip skills to yourself that you can use at any time, and that's like a feature unique to it. And it's got one really cool weapon, the Sickle and Chain, that lets you fly through the air while doing attacks.
That's just a good
And it's also
weapon in
got
any
giant
game.
like fist weapons too that are like really satisfying to use. It's really, really good. I would recommend you don't check it out and you just skip straight to Toukiden Kiwami.
Because it's the same game, just
It
better.
contains the entire first game and the first game's story and cutscenes, everything.
It's the same game,
plus
but
plus the 1.5 game.
Toukiden is Kiwami is Toukiden G.
Yeah.
Or Ultimate.
Yeah.
Or it's that.
Just watch out for the PC version because it has issues like a lot of Tecmo Koei games
Of course
have.
it does.
So I'd recommend the Vita. The Vita one's honestly the best. I know I'm a mark for that, but the PS4 version also has some minor issues. So, but really, really
But you don't have to play it
solid
on a
hunting
Vita,
game.
then.
No, and you can play it on a Vita TV if you don't want that.
if you're
so
really crazy.
there's options. Anyway, super good.
Cool. So the next thing for me is something that it's on the list, not based on the amount of time put into it, but based on the fact that it exists.
You're like, I haven't even played it at all.
As made evident recently, Ultimax, the ultimate suplex
Ooh.
hold, Persona 4.
P1 fans, are you ready?
Time to let loose an all-out war!
The contestants in the previous P1 Grand Prix have returned for another tournament, right on the heels of the last one.
Mind Slash!
These warriors will create another legend here at the world-shattering P1 Ring!
Go down! Assault, how about this?
These are battles of honor, battles of will. Sparks will fly. Some fight for pride, some fight for glory. Will this be decided by pure muscle, or will a battle of wits determine the outcome?
Rise up! Lay down!
Things are heating up! Tonight, who will win the title of champion? Who will be crowned with the winner's wreath? Whose tale of glory will
enters into its final chapter. The P1 climax is
barely getting started!
Persona 4 Arena.
That's on my list also. How about that?
So
and on the same level, yeah, I didn't put as much time into it as Arena, but it is objectively better than Arena.
So
in every
where
way.
is the ultimate suplex hold? Is it
It's
in the
Margaret's.
game?
It's Margaret's.
We did it.
Thing. I got confused. I thought it was Aegis.
Yeah, because you were looking at that piece of art where Aegis is doing it on the on the
Also,
show.
When they announced it, I think
is
they had
Guilty
that
Gear
one,
on your list?
Yeah.
Is it below this game?
No, it's above.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For me, Ultimax was like
Guilty-
I like it a lot better.
Guilty Gear was 4th on my list.
Okay.
But Ultimax, like I ranted about P4A last year on my list. And
Yeah.
So this year, it's just about the inclusion of characters that needed to be there.
It's
And-
one of the best of Arc System Works' updates ever.
It's huge, yeah.
It's massive.
It's a sequel.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
let's
sequel.
not
It's
pretend it's not.
not Guilty Gear XX accent whatever.
Reload.
It's
It's
almost double the
It's
roster.
P4A too.
Can I just say, I know this isn't a part of Ultimax, but I really appreciate that there's a $5 DLC for Ultimax that gives you the entire first game's story.
Yeah.
Which I
that's
think
a
is
smart,
fucking awesome.
Genius idea.
I would love it was included, but the very
So
idea
yeah.
that you can just get it for $5
Just slap
and
that
have
shit
the
in
first
there.
game story, like that's great.
Yeah. So I mean, like in
There's
I
no
guess
reason to play the first one anymore, I guess.
What Ultimax de facto kind of is for me is more matchups for Akihiko.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
That's what the game simplifies into.
Oh man, those new characters are amazing.
But that means
Akihiko fighting simulator.
But that
now.
means a lot.
Mhm.
And like when I say I didn't spend as much time on it, let's be real, that means I didn't spend a disgusting amount of time on it.
Yeah.
I still played about
I played it like
200
a
hours.
normal
Tens of
day.
hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As opposed to hundreds.
Yeah.
God damn it,
it's
man.
so goddamn
Culprit
good.
is fucking cool.
Culprit's the fucking shit.
The shadow system is it's a bit weird and difficult to sort of get.
After we did our video, I watched some stuff with the shadows.
You can
and
do amazing
You can do
things.
some really cool stuff
Yeah.
if you're good.
And I'm a fan of grooves, man.
Yeah.
I like that
Options
idea.
options are good.
Bust or slash or whatever the hell that shit is.
Yeah. You've got that going on. You've got
A new story mode, which we're not going to talk about.
Oh well, no.
Did anyone play the story mode in Ultimax at all?
I found out what the end was and was like, no.
Okay, because I played Arenas a little bit, and I was like, no.
I beat arenas, but no.
I spoiled myself on the ending of Ultimax because I suspected, and I was super right to not care. I was
Cool.
It's like it's bad.
Sure. I played through
It's
arcade mode
bad.
in Japan, and I saw the Show Minazuki like story go.
Yeah.
But in general, they nerfed Mitsuru, and
Good.
they
And
made
that's-
me
and that's
happy,
enough for
and
you,
that's-
yeah.
That's
They
what I
buffed
need.
Teddy. They gave him like 8 new items.
Yeah. So it's a fantastic fucking fighting game, that we will never see again.
Nope.
So Woolie, there's another fighting game on my list, and it's above both of those others.
I know what it is.
Because it's fucking Nidhogg. Nidhogg! Get the dick!
All-time king of fighting
Where
games.
is it?
Nidhogg right above Dark Souls to me.
Oh my god, that game is so good.
I can't believe how such a simple thing can feel so good.
And you saw it, like, it was the first time you ever saw it in the line at PAX?
when that guy pulled it out.
Oh, so we're in the giant bomb panel line at PAX, and two dudes are just playing it on their laptop in front of us in the line, and Woolie goes, "What the fuck is that?"
I had seen it on a stream somewhere prior, but I didn't really watch.
And you looked at it, it's like, what is that? It's Nidhogg.
It's like, oh, that thing.
It's like,
what the fuck?
That thing I don't know what
and they go, you don't know about Nidhogg? And the guys go, you come play Nidhogg right now.
Yo, like 2D Bushido Blade, but fast and just fun and full of amazing moments every time you play.
So God damn
and like
good.
making both players play as the same character who has an absurdly broad amount of techniques at their disposal. Like when you look at that game from the surface, you think there's only a few things you can do.
Stab up or down.
You
or
can
jump.
do so much. It's crazy.
So
wave dashing in that game.
And like people play the character differently.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I like a lot of kicks.
Yeah.
So
I like a lot of rolls.
And somewhat viable.
Yeah.
There's something that's very niche and specific in certain fighting games, and it's the Ryu matchup.
Yeah.
It's a pure.
If you can make your Ryu matchup interesting,
you did it.
That you did it.
And it's a very pure, fun way to play Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And that exists in not every fighting game has it. But when it does, it's like, yeah, we are on the same level. This is my brain versus your fucking brain. Let's play some chess. And Nidhogg is taking that concept,
fast chess,
and building on it.
Yes, it's very fast.
You know, like I think it's the result of a game jam, and it's just
probably.
Like, holy shit, man!
Some crazy bullshit gets made out of game jams sometimes.
I think my two favorite things about it are the speed, which is to say, like hard and fast.
Yep,
lightning fast.
Unforgiving,
and the stages. I don't think the game would be anywhere near as good with any different win conditions. I think the win condition of get to the opposite side of the stage is perfect.
And not just win the rounds.
If it was stock, if it was time, if it was any other variable, I don't think it would work. I think it takes that raw bashing against each other until you manage to overcome.
It's all momentum.
Yeah.
Can you stop my momentum? Oh shit, yeah, you can.
Don't chase.
Yeah, in the same way that like PlayStation All-Stars screwed the pooch on its victory conditions.
Yes.
This game is all about its victory conditions because if it was any different, I don't think it would be nearly as good.
And aside from some of the music and some of the variability, like the background, like texture, like man, you could have had this like 15 years ago.
Oh
so
yeah.
it was,
and like
it could have existed in the fucking like pre-Nintendo era.
No. The animation's too fast. But a Nintendo game could totally do Nidhogg. Like
you could have had a shit looking version.
exactly. You could have had like a slightly slower.
Yeah. There's mysteries within how to make shit look good.
You can't be any slower. It can't be.
Less well animated.
Yeah.
Then,
speed is vital.
It was kind of floating nebulously in my brain, and then the moment it fucking locked in with screws and rivets in the corner is in that fisticuffs when it was like crouch. Jump, crouch over the stab.
Yeah.
You remember that kill.
I remember.
And fucking, and I was like, yes, that
it worked.
Beyond satisfying.
The thing that I thought to do worked.
Oh,
it's great. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Nidhogg.
Oh, Nidhogg's the shit.
Don't chase.
There's
if you haven't gotten the dick, go get the dick.
Don't chase, but get the dick.
Spread out throughout all our list. There's 2 games where get the D is in there.
Indeed there is.
Anyway.
What's next?
What's next, Matt?
That was
what
me.
do you got?
Woolie, feel free to jump in. I mean, please jump in. It'll be embarrassing if you don't, but feel free to jump in whenever you want. Hey ho, Donkey Kong, let's go, let's go. Here he comes, Banana Slammer. Ooh, ah! Yeah. Tropical Freeze. actually a lot of people forget came out in February of 2014. So just barely getting in there because they delayed it.
Fucking ancient now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's one of those things where it's like it was going to be in November, then they delayed it to February.
Super on time. We're almost 2 years out from this game.
We played it at E3 2013.
Hey, you know what?
Yep,
that's a good game.
It's a good game.
It's a good game.
You know what it also is? A good David Wise album.
I forgot that they got him on board for
Oh
that
my
one
god, the
specifically.
soundtrack.
Yeah, but I
find that soundtrack to be crazy.
That was going to be one of the main things.
Okay. Well, fair.
But like Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, it's like this is, that, but yeah, it's the HD version of it. It's, got all the control options.
You don't have to waggle to roll.
You don't gotta. And like it has like little things that like, when the stages switch to 3D, when you get into barrels and you can like launch yourself better. It's not all 2D, it's not all locked in there. And it has a way better cast of enemies. Little tiki guys from Returns is like my actual only real beef of that game.
Is there kind of nothing?
Yeah, because they're kind of nothing. And when there's like this ancient tribe of walrus assholes from Viking walruses, they're like so much more like, are they as good as Kremlins? Still,
but they
not
kind of
really.
evoke the Kremlin idea a little bit.
They do, because they're at least anthropomorphic
weird
creatures that attack
weirdo ethnic animal attacks.
I don't like these ethnic animals. This is our island.
As long as Donkey Kong continues to cleanse all other non-monkey races.
Exactly.
It's fine.
He enjoys it. I think I remember showing Woolie a video before the game was coming out where it was the Lion King stage where the platforming is done on the backs of puppets.
Yeah.
Like,
beats in my head.
And yet there was an element of stage. And the stage variety, like it's just as good as the other games previously in the Donkey Kong Country series. But these weird, like almost abstract, like what? Why are there puppets? Whatever, it's cool. Just go.
Just play the video game, man.
And
do it.
Like I took a long ass time to fucking finally finish it because it's the toughest one. I think
I got really fucking far in that game, and then took a look at the world list. I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna beat.
I'm
this.
not far at all.
Like it's crazy long.
It's I think it's like you have more control, obviously, because you don't have to waggle or anything.
It's true.
But it's actually tougher because they like probably tuned it for the levels to be
I believe that's totally the case.
Harder to do.
Because that roll jump is now 100% reliable.
Yeah.
They build a lot of more levels for it.
And all the new co-op stuff with all the other buddies doing like a screen.
Oh yeah, the high five thing.
All that's fun.
Oh,
and
with Cranky Dong.
That being said, I'm good now.
Yeah.
Retro, you absolutely fucking nailed it.
What if the next one had Kremlings again, though?
No.
Okay, you're good.
What
You're good.
I'm good.
What if the next one had something called, I don't know, a Metroid in it?
Yeah.
Or
Ravenblade?
Or Captain Falcon.
Yeah.
How about we give some love to the other Nintendo characters?
No, they're dead.
No.
Mach Rider, where is he?
He's dead.
Every year Mach Rider's supposed to come out.
That castle ain't gonna populate itself. Where the fuck is Takamaru?
No.
Deader than dead.
Yeah, but everyone said that about Little Mac came back. Everyone said that about Star Fox. They come back every 10 years.
For the frog, the bell tolls. Where's it at?
Yeah. But yeah, really enjoyed the game, and like I said, I'm super satisfied. I don't need another one in another year or two. So I'm like,
well, you didn't even beat this one.
No, I did.
It took a long time though. Yeah,
I misunderstood.
Like it took me all year.
So you're saying like wait 2 more games, please?
No, I'm there is a lot of Donkey Kong Country platformers.
Oh, you're good.
I'm super good.
Okay.
Donkey Kong Country Volcano Blast.
Yeah,
coming in.
I really hope not.
For the NX.
I would actually be really
Desert
bummed.
No, I mean like do 2
Desert
more
Storm,
games
Desert
before
Storm,
coming back is what I meant.
Just go
2 more completely different games.
Yeah,
Not even
exactly.
Metroid.
I totally
take
agree.
a break. Yeah,
You can just do something else.
Do you want
Ravenblade.
something brand new? Please give me a Metroid. Please.
You have to go into.
I don't mind a Metroid, but if it's not a Metroid, if it's something completely new, bring back Project Hammer.
Bring back GameCube football.
But yeah, no, Pat, you have to go into Batman
What was that
action
game called?
figure
It was
naming
called
conventions.
Football.
Yeah, okay.
And there was a monster truck game as well. Anyway, so yeah, I have like one more game on my list that I like. My number 1 game is like not something that I think you guys have put on, but the other 2 I have.
Well,
we all got in there. So
yeah,
cool.
okay. So let's
pass.
Should I?
No.
Who else has more?
Liam has to go.
We're gonna keep doing it.
We're gonna keep going.
I have some more. Absolutely.
We're gonna keep doing it until we're spent.
Okay.
We talked about the first one before, but Danganronpa 2: Farewell Despair.
Why, hello there! Thank you all for waiting! Now, let's begin!
During the party, the killer was lurking under the floor like a cockroach.
His body was underneath the table at the very back of the dining hall.
But when the party started, nobody saw you, you know. That means you have no alibi.
No, that's wrong. Now then, Hajime, will you battle against me?
This is almost like a real trial! Things are starting to get exciting!
Oh!
The
coming
other
in,
first-person
coming in
shooter.
above.
Coming in without a doubt above. Yeah, no, definitely.
So I can just play the second one then?
No.
Oh.
That's interesting.
But the best thing
wanna
about
hear
it,
this.
but the best thing about it, Pat, is that now you have 2 great games to play. So
What, not 3?
2 great games to play. Danganronpa 2.
Look how quiet that is!
Danganronpa 2 is, of course, the
That waveform is
sequel
sandbagging.
to the first Danganronpa.
Okay.
When you start that game, you start on this island.
I think I know where you're going.
And you have no idea what's going on. It's very removed from the first game.
You get a huge clue, though.
You get a huge clue, but it's very removed. It's completely removed. And even if you pick up on the clue, you still don't know. And when you get to the ending sequence of that game, oh shit, that's way stronger than the ending sequence of the first game. It like fucking beats it out. Nagisa is an amazing, Nagito, rather, is an amazing. Fuck, help me out.
Who are you thinking of?
Nagito.
The main character?
The guy who laughs good.
Nagito, yes.
Yeah. He's the fucking best.
Yes.
He's amazing. He's such a good, like, quote
Nagito
unquote,
is an amazing character.
like, quote unquote, villain character, kinda, but not
But
really. No, like,
Yeah.
he's doing good things for you, but you don't want him to.
Okay, so here's how I'm in my head. It's like this. It's like the story and the main game in part 1 I feel is better than part 2, but I feel like the cases in part 2 are better than part 1. That's how I feel.
I think
and part of that has a lot to do with Nagito.
I think the story's tighter in the first one, but I think the second one is like a better all around thing.
I'm noticing a very strong theme in your list, bro.
Which
every time there's a game that you get this certain light in your face, you're like, man, it's so tight.
It is though. It is though. That's the main thing. Exactly.
That's a rare quality these days, man.
No, like bloat sucks. So I don't think I have any open world games. But then again, I have hunting games, and those aren't tight. So
they are.
It's
a very different
in a different way.
You can make them tight.
Like Monster Hunter and Kiwami don't have like a goddamn open world in them.
That's
That's
true.
why they have go kill this fucking thing.
Yeah, you pick them up for 15 minutes and you kill a big monster. So I guess that is tight in its own way.
Tight.
And I don't know. I think it's better. Either way, they're like neck and neck.
But
even
yeah,
if,
so
they
like they're like
definitely are.
You're literally doing this, and eventually you went but like you could have done.
I could have, but I did like this one better for sure.
I feel like the reason why for me it doesn't go above is because the middle part of the game has what I feel like is like more downtime. And
it has like a middling case in the
it
center.
and it does, and like there's no real. Like, you kind of go from, all right, there's the next island to go to. There's the next, and you just know what's going to happen, and it follows the same thing, and it doesn't really shake that up until you get to the final loop, you know?
And the final loop is, like, goddamn sick.
It's fantastic.
Like, it's so good.
But, yeah, so I just kind of feel like I didn't really feel that as much
Even
the
if
first
you
time
didn't like
around.
it better, though, neck and neck, would you say?
Absolutely
yeah,
neck and neck.
Definitely.
Absolutely neck and neck.
I'm probably going to talk about this one even less, but play the first game, and if you like it, without a doubt, play the second game.
Treat them like one game?
Maybe
No,
no. I mean,
no,
they're
there's-
separate.
they're
You can
s-
do whatever
no,
you
they're
want.
two
They have
games.
almost entirely different casts.
No,
so,
but I mean, like, did you like the first one? Then it's
just play
right
the
there
second
for
one,
you.
yeah.
Like
don't
chapter 2.
don't stop after the first.
Yeah, that's
one.
what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Baldur's Gate is like that. Like,
yeah.
why would you not just right through?
Exactly, and just like the first one, rumor has it there's going to be a Steam release, so play it when you have a chance.
Yeah, that lore and world building from the second one is really fucking
Really
good,
strong.
man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Then you got to start reading books after that. So.
Oh God, if
Actually,
and Zero.
hang on, 2 more things. That comes with a fully localized book inside it. You remember that,
does.
Woolie?
You can go read it.
Yeah,
In
you
the main
told me about
menu,
this.
one of the Danganronpa books is completely localized. It's like 200 pages long, and it's there for you.
I'll tell you all about Duke and
An
Grandpa.
entire second story. It's actually pretty interesting.
In the darkness of Hope's Peak Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one.
That is all, wait, is it actually called that?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that's basically what it is, though. And one shitty thing about both of these games is the new mode they added for the remakes of them is garbage. The school mode,
Yep.
or I think it's called island mode.
Island mode.
They're a terrible waste of time.
What is it?
When you beat the game, you unlock a mode where you can just go around and fill out all the conversations with the side characters.
So basically, all
It's
the
just a slow waste
all
of
the
time.
S-Link dates that you couldn't see in Persona, you
Yeah,
can see them in this
that's
mode.
lame.
That's all it is.
And there's a bunch of new, not as good dialogue.
Not being able to do it is like,
Yeah, and there's a boring mini game that plays in between.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's and the Monomi action game.
Yeah.
This game also comes with an
Well,
action
I thought
game.
you were going to talk about that. Yeah.
What do you think about that action game? Is that some SSS stuff? Is that some DMC3 Special Edition level
yeah.
action game?
That's content that's in the game and therefore drags that line down a little bit.
Oh, really?
It's,
Oh, well.
it's in the game.
It's in the game, but like really sick game. And I think there's bits like the arcade cabinet that like are huge peaks.
Oh yeah.
So.
That's a good one.
Anyway,
All
give
right.
it a swing.
So next on the list, and like let's be real. and
Let's all clap.
Let's all just fucking get it in there. Yacht Club.
Yacht
Club.
Yacht
Club.
Where's our amiibos?
They're coming.
Mine.
They're coming.
They're coming.
Shovel Knight. Fucking game.
But
that fucking game, man.
It's super
Woolie-
good, and the
Woolie,
best thing about it is it's not even done being better.
Guys, I just realized we can't put that game on our list. We're too biased. We got Zubaz.
Has your money ever been better spent?
I should mention that I also backed like Dragonfall.
Oh man!
Right? No, seriously, no.
What is there to say that hasn't
Dude,
been
I
said?
was.
If Shovel Knight not only if it did not have Zubaz in it, if it had a character called Shitbatsu and it was a character that was purposely made to shit on us.
It's
and
blessed.
say
It
we
was
suck.
all of us giving birth out of our assholes.
Guess what?
It would still
Shovel
be.
Knight would still be.
It would still be where it is.
Liam's point is rock solid. It's not even done getting better as of now. The Plague Knight expansion is out, and that thing is awesome.
And
There's
there's
still the battle mode coming out.
Battle mode and what's his face Knight, King Knight or
King
whatever.
Knight and
King
Spectre
Knight
Knight.
and Spectre Knight.
Yeah, you know,
and,
when that,
and other shit too.
when
I
that
forget about.
talented group of individuals at Way Forward decided they had to cut the chafe from Way Forward, an already amazing studio, they needed to get more pure.
They had to
It's
cut
so
the
nuts.
Chaff.
Oh yeah, I was like,
It's okay.
It's okay.
chafing is what happens to your balls
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
So, like, imagine if a bunch of people from Platinum are like ex-Platinum employees that are like, nah, we gotta cut the dead weight.
We're done with them.
What the fuck are you talking? You know what I mean?
There's too much fluff on this Bayo
How
team.
amazing!
These rebellious rock stars are holding us back
How
from
amazing
being
is
rebellious
honestly,
rock
project gonna be?
stars.
Yacht Club to Way Forward is very similar to Platinum to Capcom. Like Way Forward remains
Yeah.
awesome, but like,
Yeah.
holy shit! If
Distilled.
this is the kind of stuff we can expect,
Distilled.
fuck,
Yeah.
damn.
It's super good. And like I think they just overcame everyone's expectations by a huge amount.
How many copies does everyone own of Shovel Knight across systems?
I only own one.
I own like 4.
3.
Not including the PC Kickstarter one that I never touched, 2.
Okay.
So
I have the Wii U version,
I'm the loser, I
the
guess.
3DS version, the Vita version, the Xbox One version. Oh wait, I didn't buy the PS4 version because I don't care about Kratos.
No, you bought the Vita version, right?
Yeah, I did. Oh, so then I did.
You got it.
And then my physical copy's right over there too. Well, the
I don't have a
box, the
physical
box,
copy.
you know.
Yeah.
Like
So who's the biggest loser and who's the biggest dork?
I'm the biggest.
Who has the most?
I have the least. So
I think you have the most.
Yeah, but he has the physical. I don't have the physical.
I'm gonna get the physical when the Vita
couldn't
one comes
find it.
out.
Well, I
because that's the one I want.
made the
physical.
mistake of buying it on PC, which I never put away and will have forever. So buying the other versions had no like pull.
Honestly, I treasure the signed poster more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those guys are great guys, man.
They are.
They're
But
super
yeah, like
cool.
I've played, like I've started it up on all systems, you know. I started my PC version up, I started the Wii U version up, and like
Flawless everywhere.
the one I beat it on, I think it was the PC version I beat it on first, and I got really far into the Wii U version, and I played the Xbox One version just to
the Battletoads fight. Yeah.
Okay, the Battletoads fight is the best exclusive anything in the game because it's levels basically.
Yeah. No, it looks amazing. That
it just
one.
goes on much longer than you'd expect or whatever, and that I wish there was an all-in-one, like it would never exist.
Oh
but
yeah.
I wish there was an all-in-one Ultimate version
That'd
added
be
with
nice. Unfortunately,
added with some dumb extra Nintendo fight against like a nobody Nintendo character, like not Mario.
Captain Olimar.
Like Cave Story, this
oh
game.
damn it! I was fuck.
Like
No.
Cave, this
You
game could
beat
have
me.
been on the list of legendary old classics. It's just got so much like perfect with its level design and its tone.
Secrets.
And the humor is right on point.
Shovel Knight,
Dialogue.
it creates the fantasy that there was that game along, like in that super amazing NES game bin next to Castlevania 1 and Mega Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Shovel Knight was just underneath a hat.
Yeah,
and you
but
didn't see it.
It would have to be shittier.
No,
it would
No, because Shovel Knight actually cheats on a few things, which is I think what Matt's saying. Yeah.
But it's a fantasy. It's a
Yeah,
fantasy.
no, exactly.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
In
When you say
this fantasy, yeah, it would be right
so
alongside it.
close
Yeah.
to being NES perfect.
And you know, and even though it was our wallets, like it's an honor. It is such an honor to like.
Hey, we lucked out, man.
To be involved in any way.
Anyone who played Shovel Knight and got to that bass fight, you're welcome.
And it was a fun fight. They nailed it.
I still
They
get
just-
Twitter
oh.
messages saying, "Did you know that?" yeah, I did.
My favorite thing is seeing people say, "Who the fuck is Zubaz?"
Well,
he's in Dive Kick and he's in like. Who the fuck is this guy?
I pinned the
great.
tweet
He's the
to the
mascot.
top of my
This is
Twitter.
what we
where
live for. This
This
is why
like
we
yeah,
do it.
when I wake up and I don't know why I'm here, this is what it's all
Yeah.
about.
It's like,
It's like
who is
when
this
I saw him in Dive Kick and I was like, who the fuck? But then when I saw him in Shovel Knight, I'm started to getting
Well, it's
genuinely
because he's
worried.
starting to exist in that place where like I want to be the guy and stuff like is where it's like they have an indie game and then they show up in all the other indie games, right? So where's Supez's indie game? Where is it? I can't
what's
find
the
it.
source
It exists.
material? Oh god.
it's so
He's
good.
the mascot of the video game industry.
Yeah, and you know every boss is like really fun and
Oh,
unique
they're
in
so
different
good.
ways. And
Like even King Knight would be the final boss of another game. Like
If
his
that-
boss
yeah.
fight is so good that it could be in an NES
Yeah,
game,
he's
but
fantastic.
everyone else,
You know,
in the game is like more interesting or whatever.
You've got
There's
that.
more
You've
going on
got
in the
that
boss
like
fight.
Link with like Polar Knight, who's just like he's just. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
guy with a shovel, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
guys
that's
have a
great.
cool backstory.
Need we even mention the butt feature?
But
but
Butt.
you know,
But
Shield Knight, like
that
Fishing.
story hits way harder than it should.
Yeah.
so good, man.
Hey, how tight is this game?
It's really tight.
It's
Pretty
tight.
tight.
It's no chaff.
No chafe.
And but you know what?
But that armor isn't clothes.
You say that, but you can also not make it tight. You can do
You can do other things.
bullshit.
Yeah,
You can collect every piece of armor. You can get just level up with more like gems and just get more money to buy
they
everything.
took the Ziploc bag and they put it
Open
in
up a
a
little
vac
bit.
bed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sucked the air out even more.
Yeah. It's amazing. Fantastic.
music,
stuff.
some of the
game.
best music.
Some of the best music.
Like
Great.
it stands up there with anything on the like any of the classics on the NES.
I remember we had a demo early, right, Matt? Remember? I remember leaving it on my computer just to listen to the song on that stage. So yeah,
even the village theme.
Yeah.
all
is,
of it.
like ingrained in my head because I spent a lot of time in the village.
All of
or
it's great.
whatever.
Yeah.
And like when we first like caught wind that there was gonna be a big map, and then when the map opens up, because when we played the original demo, or whatever, that
It was
wasn't
super
really in
limited. And there was no
or
map.
whatever.
Yeah.
When we took a look at the demo, and then it was just basically that stage. It was
Yeah.
basically King Knight stage, and we were blown away by that, just how fun it was there.
So good.
But when you got the actual full version, or when we first saw I think the trailer or whatever, and it showed the world map, and I remember Yaakov had said, yeah, there's gonna be kind of like a Super Mario
Little world
style,
map,
Super
yeah.
Mario 3 world
yeah,
map.
okay.
And then you see how fucking cool that map is, and there's an
great.
airship and like an underwater submarine,
It's
and like
great.
And there's the
everything you
fish
see,
who dance for you. And
There is nothing.
the Triple King.
Yeah.
That game is something rare. That game has no flaws. I can think of zero. I've been sitting here the whole time.
As far as like glaring issues or
Does
anything.
it have any flaws
Not really.
that are even worth
It's
mentioning?
it's
There's
only flaws
preferences.
that it's too good.
Strike the earth, man.
Strike the earth.
Like the only thing you could even kind of leverage, and only from some like high up pretentious point, is that it's
Is-
not done.
Here,
But
you
like
know-
no,
you know
but
what?
exactly. Like forget about that. The
It's-
game's fantastic.
Its greatest flaw is that it wasn't in my life sooner.
Yes.
Basically.
Like, and it's like you said, it's not done, but it's also going to get better.
Yeah, and it's not like it's early access,
first
like the
extra
features-
campaign is like not some throwaway thing. Your hero plays completely differently because
Yeah.
he's a completely different.
And
hero.
Zubaz gets a starring role in it.
I forgot. I still haven't. I haven't even looked at it yet. I haven't seen it. Like I want to do that.
And when you go to Plague Knight's stage, exactly what you want to happen happens at the end of that stage.
Yeah. Plague Knight draws a bunch of porn. Oh wait, that's another plague. Never mind.
I hope that, you know, like
Battle mode.
10 years from now, we're gonna have not a dynasty, but a really fucking tight Shovel Knight 2.
No,
Shovel Knight
no,
64.
I don't want Shovel Knight 2.
I want Shovel Knight 64. Because if you
No,
can make...
no, you don't. You want
What?
Super Shovel Knight.
No, I don't. Because
I want the
know
3D
you
one.
can make Super Shovel Knight, make it super good.
No.
But I want to see, can you make
Skip
a
right to
super
64?
awesome 3D platformer?
Of course they can.
Like that has 64 PlayStation aesthetics.
Skip a generation.
That's a
I don't
challenge.
know. I don't want any of that. I want something totally new from these guys.
Oh, for sure. But that's why I said,
sure.
But that's why I said 10 years.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay.
That's after their
Well,
next
it's gonna
and
take them
third
6
and,
years to
and-
make
and
this
third
one.
project.
All
Yeah.
them battle modes.
Mhm.
Oh, what a good goddamn.
But
fucking game.
If you're watching, please include propeller mice in all your games.
Oh yeah.
Please do.
Oh,
They're chaotic neutrals.
threatening but fair.
Who even put them there?
What is their motivations?
Yeah. So who's next? Is it Pat now?
It's me. There's
Yeah.
only one game left on my list.
There's only one game left on my list.
No, I have one game that's not.
Okay, what about you,
let's
Liam?
get mine out of the way.
I've got 3, including Matt's and yours.
Okay,
And
so
Okay.
let's go, Matt.
One other odd one.
Then Liam.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to the final game.
We'll get to the
Yeah,
final
okay.
game.
I mentioned earlier.
Shocker. That's the last one. I wonder what game that could be.
I mentioned earlier that there's 2 games spread out through all these lists where you have to get the D, and the last one is the D as in fine D as in the D4.
My name is David Young. 2 years ago, someone killed my wife. I have no memories of that day. The only thing I do remember are the words that little Peggy whispered as she died.
Look for D.
David, everything shipshape?
I'm tired. I was about to go to sleep.
Sleep? You look ready for a coffin.
And now a detective who searches the past. In exchange for losing my memory, I gain this power. And I'll do everything to find this D. I swear I will.
A passenger simply vanishing from an aircraft mid-flight.
What are you doing here? Well.
This plane is going down!
There you are! On memories! Soupy baby!
Who are you?
Hold it!
You can't change the past. Time is always moving into the future.
Dark dreams.
I
don't
gotta
die.
find the D.
Yo,
where's the D at?
The best 90s TV intro in all of video
Oh
games.
my god, the intro's incredible.
It's one of the things where
D4 used to come on after Ally McBeal.
I've been D4 like a couple of times, and like up until the last time, I just went like, did I miss anything? But the first 3 times, like I played it by myself, then I played it with my girlfriend at the time, and then I played with you guys for the LP, and up until our LP, I still saw things that were different. I saw different dialogue.
When I played through it with my girlfriend after the LP, we found tons of stuff that we didn't touch in the LP. It was really interesting.
This is my number 1 on my list.
Really?
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a good
and
pick.
one of the things,
Yeah, that would be your number 1.
One of the things
Absolutely.
I put really high is, did you make me laugh?
Yes.
Did you make me feel this?
Yes, you
Did you make me do whatever? And then after, like, those are hard things that almost no games do. But are you fun to play? Is there stuff to do?
As a point-and-click adventure, how much you got?
How much you got?
Swear he's got a lot.
And you know what? This game is tight.
It is tight.
You can. It's not this bloated, like just walking around. Just if you want to just go, just go.
And when the scenes change, it doesn't just shit its ass.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot. And anytime I found any sort of little thing on a wall, and then most of the time it'd be something that goes, that makes you go, oh fuck, that's really harsh.
That's the thing.
His wife died.
Oh,
little Peggy.
Damn it.
But then there's a weird cat fight with a sexy cat girl. I think. I'm not sure what happened.
I really like the use of QuickTime events to break up the point-and-click pacing, because like QuickTime events sometimes can feel like a cop-out for stuff, like when you replace a boss with a QuickTime event.
I would say often.
But in the case of a point-and-click adventure, this game does have a boss fight against what's-his-face.
Yep.
Using a QuickTime event.
Is that Papelli, the guy?
Yeah.
It feels very natural.
Using a QuickTime event feels really good because they can't make a whole combat system for a point-and-click adventure. Or, I mean, it's not really...
It's not feasible.
It's not really realistic or feasible, yeah.
And bringing it back to, like, the accent I was trying to emulate before, I was like, Swery, you literally cannot make a character better or more memorable than Francis York Morgan. And I'm not going to say that David Young is better, but you made one that's comparable.
You could have an argument about it.
You could have an argument about it, because I love both dudes so much.
Considering David's story is only halfway done, and that's ultimately the biggest flaw.
Yeah.
He could be just as good as York in the end, yeah.
And that like kind of brings me to the great tragedy of this is like just make one more, just wrap it up, because I know you're not going to be able to make a third one or probably wrap up the story as you probably intended.
There is a brutal cliffhanger at the end of
it's the most
what
brutal
exists.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I think. And that's the only thing I can't recommend about D4 is that if you don't want to get super invested, maybe wait to see if they ever get a chance to make another one.
When Swery made a Twin Peaks homage, he forgot to leave in the fucked up cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So he had to make D4 to
finish
finish
to further rip off
the ultimate cliffhanger.
Yeah, and
it's actually very similar to Twin Peaks' actual cliffhanger.
But
like it feels like that.
But just everything, the writing, the music, the amount of work that was put into into all the little text, all the little
I don't think that's
collectibles.
how you eat hot dogs, man.
I think it's the only way to eat hot dogs.
You know what?
Now, yeah, my eyes have been
Make a
open.
little thing. I think one of you called it. Like, I think Pat was like, "Is he gonna
That
do
was
a
was that
little
the
thing?
crab claws?
The crab claws
Yeah.
with the hot dogs and the things
It's
or
potatoes,
whatever.
I think.
It was
oh,
either
no, it is
potatoes or hot dogs.
There's so
Grandpa
much.
Simpson does it with potatoes.
Yeah.
it's
Sans
true.
taught
There's
me
a
a new
whole-
way to eat hot dogs.
That's true.
There's
too.
a whole clam chowder scene, which when I got to, I was like, "Oh my god, that's the joke!" And you did it. Good job.
I'm so happy of like what level of fake Boston it takes place in.
Yeah.
It's the
It
best
takes
fake
place in a Boston that never existed.
Like I
Except
want,
in our
like
hearts.
talking about
Yeah.
it, I want to play it again because it's been a while since I played. Whatever.
You can
and
always go back to that Clover mini game. I know you didn't play enough of it, so
I didn't.
yeah, exactly, and it's
the
fun.
the
so.
final thing, like the best thing, compliment I can give any game is that the Kinect version of this is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally
It
works.
actually works.
That's a
you
huge
can,
compliment.
You can play it sitting down, and it
Yeah.
works.
Since it's a point-and-click adventure, it's just kind
It's
of
like literally, and it's fine on a controller too.
yeah.
Like
Are there-
that's
but-
a huge compliment.
Although, like, are there timing things where it's like, you know,
The quick time events.
the Kinect input would be shitty?
I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I didn't have a missed thing that I was like I think there was like one
Mhm.
QuickTime event where I was like, I'm fairly sure I
Yeah.
did that right, but I don't know. But that's one.
Oh.
Video games on controllers sometimes you'll be like, I got that.
Although the new Kinect isn't perfect, it is still the new Kinect, and it works pretty well. So
I mean,
For
there's
this.
been
for
two
not
games I
full
ever
body
used.
tracking,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
I ever
Yeah.
use it.
But for this game where you just sit down and
No,
swipe,
D4 absolutely it deserves
Well,
like tons of props.
Believe in your heart that the sequel will come.
Well, the answer
Dark
is-
Dreams won't die.
the answer is buy it. It's on PC too now.
Yeah,
so
it's on PC.
buy
I think
it.
it's like its standard price is like $3.
Do
now.
fight, yeah.
Do fight, yeah. Just I like D4 is like I'll play it again every couple of years. now,
Best
I think,
use of-
until it gets a
Best
sequel.
use of an Irish fight track in any game that year.
Mhm.
All the music.
That's
is so
true.
good.
I kind of forgot about that.
Oh, dude,
song.
that song is great.
The whole soundtrack is superb,
Yeah.
especially the opening theme, like you mentioned. Like wonderful, wonderful.
So that's you have anything to add on?
Yeah,
there?
I have. For D4.
Just before we move on. 'Cause I'm good.
The game is also beautiful. The game
That
is
cell shading is
The
fantastic.
game is
Yes.
a total looker.
Totally.
That's
Also, you
fantastic
can wear
cell shading.
Killer Instinct and Battletoad shit.
Yeah,
Or you can just dress up as York.
yeah. Access Games.
My
most
fantasy is
tight,
complete.
good game.
Yeah.
All right.
So I do have one more game other than the Fine Outer.
The Overlappist.
And the last game I had, it was my favorite game of the year. Not the best game of the year, I think, but my favorite.
All of us had different favorites than the one we're going to talk about last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my favorite game this year was Freedom Wars.
いずれ彼女は君の前に現れるの。その時は彼女を助けてあげてね。君、眠りが浅いみたいね。また会いましょう。あなたには100万年の懲役に服していただきます。
よく聞け極つぶし。貴様に反論する権利は与えられていない。
覚悟を備えろ。どう戦うか選ぶのはお前の唯一の自由だ。
やあウーベ、こいつがさっき言ってたシャズなやつか。俺の名前はマティアスってんだ。最下層暮らしにも飽きてきたとこだし、早く第二高度に上がろうぜ。
4時高校より敵接近。
あれはアーベルとレッドレイジ。
いずれ来る。太古から存在する怪物どもが。俺は奴らをこの地上へと解き放ち、全ての人間を戦いのるつぼへ導く。
きっともうすぐ彼女に会えるよ。彼女は今助けを必要としてる。
ほう、そう来なくてはな。
だから早く見つけてあげてね。
これなら 変革の試練に打ち勝つことができるだろう。今日は満足した。また刃を交えよう。
あなたは彼女を救うことが変革に本当の意味での自由につながるはずだから。
which I talked about on the podcast, I don't know, like a billion times
You
before
also-
it came out.
You also
Speak for yourself, Pat.
Were half of the marketing team for Freedom Wars, if I recall.
I like
You
to
didn't
think
get
that's
paid,
the case.
but-
I remember when Freedom Wars
Well,
first
fuck me. Nope. Yep.
when it first came out, when I was going online, I met so many
totally right,
fans
Woolie.
online, and I have a bunch of screenshots of like chat logs with them where I was just finding fans randomly
Yeah.
who were like, "Yo, I got this game because of that."
Would you say that it's tight?
It's a hunting game, so it's as tight as you want it to be.
That being said, I think it's probably the loosest hunting game.
It's probably the loosest hunting game.
Because
yeah.
there's a dedicated overworld instead of just a shop.
Yeah. So Freedom Wars is a hunting game by Dimps and Shift, who made Shift made the God Eater games, of course, and Dimps previously.
Those are good guys.
They worked on Street Fighter 4 amongst
Hey!
a million other games,
The
and they're super
Rumblefish.
good.
The Rumblefish.
The Rumblefish. I love that. Blackthorn. It's a hunting game.
Get ready for Monday Night MOBAs, you
and
stupid shit.
I guess there's two main things about it. The first main thing is there's three main things actually. The first main thing is you have two
I want
weapons
to be
at all
wrong.
times. Whether you pick two guns or two melee weapons or one of each is up to you,
Yeah.
and you can switch between them at any time. You have a buddy called an accessory who's a robot who follows you around,
Yep.
and you can give them a weapon and they'll
Option.
revive you in battle and they'll help you out. And what that turns into is it turns into 4-player co-op where everybody has an accessory. So you
there's
have like
8 hunters.
8 hunters fighting
Yeah.
at the same time, which is really, really cool. And the other thing is the Ibarra or the Thorn system,
Yep.
where you have like a grapple hook that you can use on enemies.
A zip line.
A zip line, if
Not
you
a
will.
grappling hook.
You're right. You can use it. It's more like a zip line.
It's a
You're
zip
right.
line.
You're right. So
Or a 3D maneuver.
you can shoot it at things and pull yourself towards them, so you can hang off a wall and shoot, or you can pull yourself onto an enemy and cut their limbs off.
Or you can hit them and like immobilize
Yeah,
them.
you can grab them and pull them over, and you'll fill up a meter, and eventually they'll fall over. And if everyone pulls them over, they'll go down really
Yeah.
quick. And you can also use it to revive people from far away. It's got a lot of features, and it's a really, really legitimately fantastic mechanic. So much so that it seems like Toukiden 2 is stealing it.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Good,
'cause
steal it.
It's really good mechanic.
And the setting is also like Death Game style,
So,
right? Where it's
Liam,
like
you-
a little bit, right? With the
It-
prison.
it's more open because it's not about like killing and stuff. It's more about surviving.
But it's like your life is over unless.
Yes.
Well, it's more like the recent Japanese trope of the enemies are insurmountably strong and we are like defending,
Yeah.
like Attack on Titan, or
Yeah, okay.
It's different than that.
I was
it's not a
thinking-
closed room. It's like we have to defend ourselves because fuck.
I was
Liam,
thinking about the
'Cause fuck.
hours and the
Liam,
the-
you
or the
said
years,
Attack
the
on
years,
Titan.
yeah.
10 more years to your sentence.
Yeah.
Do
Bah, bah.
the beginning of that game where you have no rights.
Yeah,
and
so-
you have to buy the right to sit down.
So you start in this prison with a 1,000,000-year sentence. And,
1,000,000
and
years
yeah, like Pat
dungeon.
said, you have no rights. And at the beginning of the game, they trick you into doing stuff. The accessory's like, "Hey, you wanna sit down?" And if you say yes, then your character sits down and you get fined for sitting down. You don't have the right to sit down in
Yeah.
this prison. And if you say no, then you get fined for turning down rest time.
That sucks.
And like the game tricks you at the beginning and you
Right.
get a bunch of things and then you finally leave your cell and you run around and you get too far from your accessory and you get slammed with a fine as well.
That you can't run when you start.
No, you can't run because you get fined for
You can't
running.
talk to the opposite sex, and you can't like
Tons
it's-
of things,
And
yeah.
like you just, oh my god, it's the use of that theme, like it nails that oppression
The
thing.
the
that
in-world
dystopia.
feeling
oh
is
my
really
god,
good.
It's
because you end up walking around slowly. Don't look at anyone.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
yeah,
anyone.
It totally succeeds in making you
imagine.
act like you're being oppressed by
Yeah.
an authoritarian regime.
as you go through it, you go through like different ranks, and you can buy your rights to different things, including like basic stuff like running around the environments. But eventually, sleeping while lying down.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, you get like, okay, you right to new types of weapons, right to etc. Like actual good big upgrades and stuff. And all the little fines they slap you with here and there, they're really just slaps on the wrist. Like the amount of years they give you is completely negligible.
You kill an abductor, you get 1,000 years off.
For your first time through a mission, yeah.
I was gonna say, what's 5 years when you're working down 1 million?
Exactly, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Just
exactly.
put your feet up. No, 1,000. Oh shit.
So like the game's not without its flaws. It has some like all the enemy types are cool, and they have this cool thing where they're modular. So you'll fight like an abductor type where he's just standing up, but this one has rocket launchers on its arms and a shield. But then you go to another level and it's got like laser beams and stuff, and like they switch it up like that.
But even with that,
ultimately, I think there's 7 enemy types, and then a lot of variant types, like I was describing. And there's a lot of variants.
That's quite low.
7 is very low.
What's the penalty for farting?
High. It's excessively
high.
A zillion years dungeon.
A zillion years, exactly. It has some shitty stealth sequences that are shitty, but they're over in a flash, so you don't even have to pay attention to that.
Good.
And I think, unfortunately, the biggest flaw, just like D4, is it doesn't feel like it's over when you finish it.
Oh, really?
I
never heard you say this before. About
there's like a big story arc that you're leading up to, and there's a little story arc going on, and you finish the little story arc, and then you're like, wait, it's over? What about? But I want to go to that place. I want to go to that place you were telling me about.
I was like, it's setting up for a sequel.
I was just about to go to that place. Yeah, totally,
I want
exactly.
to go there.
So it kind of ends just on that, and it's a shame because the coolest aspect of the world's lore, like it's already really cool, but there is a huge reveal of a thing at the very end of the game. There's this new set of characters you meet that you never saw in this entirely new area, and it's the biggest like lore drop. And you get to talk to them a lot actually in the post game, but without that second game, you never get to find out what the deal is with those people, and it's so close. Nonetheless, like you still have a really enjoyable like 30-hour story up to there, and it's just really fun, and there's genuinely no other hunting games like it. So anyway, really, really good game. I totally recommend it. Just really harsh.
Know what you're getting into. It's got some weird bits.
It's got some weird bits, and it's got a really harsh cliffhanger. So
harsh
cliffhanger.
Is that? Would you put this in the top half of your?
I really, really enjoyed it, but it's one of the more flawed games on my list too.
I should mention,
but I really liked it.
I misspoke earlier. The game we're going to talk about last is someone's number one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And perfectly in the list order, this kind of like worked out great. It's Woolie's number one.
It actually turns out it's my number
and
one.
Lucky you.
I also misspoke earlier. Dark Souls 2 was my number 3, not my number 2.
I see. When you were talking later, I was like, wait, what? What? I mixed up.
I had forgotten, but no, this game is my number 2. What game is it on your list?
It is number 3.
What if you had to put it? It'd be near the top, right?
Incredibly high. Not without its flaws, though.
Yeah. Okay.
So Hatred is a third.
I think that came.
When's Hatred?
I think it came out in 2015, Matt.
Without further ado, tomorrow is mine.
Dead witches get dragged to hell. It is what it is.
These are the gates. Whatever your friend did to get on the other side of these, let's just say she's not having a good day. Welcome to hell, love. I'm not one for pets who don't listen to their masters. You know, love, you're probably the only person on the planet who says go to hell and means take me there.
I'm afraid I don't have time to dance too long. A friend is waiting for me.
Time's almost up. Bayonetta, you better start creating miracles.
Oh God.
You're an idiot. You had the song lyrics up and then you went to a different page.
Well, no, I was gonna see if anyone was gonna jump in.
Hatred.
You better run.
I don't know the goddamn
You better
song.
hide.
I
No.
can't do it. Don't know.
Bang bang.
I was too busy playing the Wonderful 101 again. Yeah.
Go
on.
Jesus Christ.
Why did you just do Moon River?
Why didn't you just do Fly Me to the Moon?
Bayonetta, you're a mystery. You
Dude,
come
Woolie,
along
we-
with-
It's
God.
Bayonetta
I don't know what
2.
are you trying to prove you're a bigger fan or something?
No, I wanted us all to sing and have a cool sing.
Maybe you should have asked any of us if we knew what you were talking
I
about.
knew you would be able to do Donkey Kong, but you're asking all four of us to know like obscure.
You
things.
should have seen.
Bayonetta's an obscure theme
You
song.
should
No,
have seen
but we
how
don't know the
long
lyrics.
I had to stare at the Wonderful 101 lyrics to get that bit in my video.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hatred.
Wow. Well, fuck me.
Way to horribly sandbag your favorite game.
Bayonetta 2.
I
fine,
thought
don't worry
I
about
thought
it.
I thought we'd all get into a merry old sing along and have a good time. And
Shit, dog. This is about talking about video games.
It's not a sing along, son.
I'm sorry for attempting to create something.
So Bayonetta 2's okay.
Bayonetta 2.
It's all right.
It's not bad.
It's not without its flaws.
All right,
okay.
so that was our games. Of 2014.
See you next year. Thanks for tuning in.
Hatred. No,
All
I
right.
think we should.
You
probably,
should fade out. You
but
should
no.
fade out and then come
Fade
back.
out, come back in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come back
exactly.
in.
All right,
No.
all right. So look, everything that we're about to say, like the hairstyle doesn't even matter. Just let me get it out
Who
there.
cares about the visuals?
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, the visuals are fantastic.
They're better than the first one.
Well, no, hey, let's hold on there. Someone asked me this like on social media the other day. He's like, "Hey, just by the by, Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta or Bayonetta 2?" And I always flip flop, but like
2.
I'm pretty sure it's 2.
It's 2.
Bayo 2 for both characters, yeah.
Yeah, I 100% a 2.
I like when I look at her now, I'm like, I prefer this one.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes. No, the Lumen Sage is just there's nothing in life. There's nothing in life like the Lumen Sage fights.
No, not quite.
You kick that guy.
Oh, sorry, I just mean her costume.
and
By
then
the way,
he's
her
like-
look.
He's just talking about costumes.
Oh, for me it's 2. Always. Yeah.
And he tries to stab you, and
Yeah.
then Kerberos, Gamora comes out, and then Fortitudo come out, and they're like, "Arr!"
It's funny because
That's-
I said
man.
I said who cares about the graphics, but now that I'm thinking about
It's
it,
a beautiful
Bayo,
game.
I think it's the prettiest game that came out this year. That year.
That year.
I think it is in terms of like just art on the whole.
Okay, art.
The first game is really washed out and has
Yes.
a lot of
Thinking
grays
about
and
this the
browns
other
and
day.
stuff
and
until
light-
you get to the end of the
light
game.
golden yellow.
Yeah.
Blue.
Bayonetta 2 is way prettier, just colorful.
Like
from
I think
end
of
to
Bayonetta
end.
2 and I think of blue and gold
And then
white.
reds.
Yeah.
And some reds, yeah.
Bayonetta is a game that like you almost feel inside you're like, oh, but what a sequel. Oh God, what if they fuck it?
No, it's better.
You
Shut
know
up.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's so much worry in your gut.
Yeah.
You want that sequel, but you're just so paralyzed with fear. And like I can't believe they've pulled it off with such fucking flying colors.
It's so good, man.
I think in a lot of aspects they succeeded at making a good sequel. I think the core gameplay is way better and way smoother.
Yeah, because right when
And-
it came out, you went back to Bayo 1 to see, right?
Yeah, and immediately after I finished it, I booted Bayo 1, and the first game is significantly stiffer than the second game, and I had forgotten that because
Too
it
much
felt
hair
so good
product.
at the time,
Yeah.
right? But they really improved that. I do think that they succeeded on the pacing in some regards too, where it's just balls to the wall, like action.
Set piece, boss, set piece.
I think there were too few strong enemy fights, like good encounters, you know what I mean? And I think that the flight battles were they were beautiful and they were fun, but mechanically they were backwards. You lost a lot of moves when you went to do the flight battles.
Yeah.
But I was still amazed with how many moves you kept.
Yeah,
That's what I said though. It's mechanically bad. It's still fantastic and fun,
Yeah.
but it is mechanically bad. You do lose.
Yeah, I get because it's just like in
Yeah.
any other game, like I would expect to have 2 flying moves. You know?
Sure.
But
I agree with Liam.
but then the mecha fights, man.
Oh shit.
The mecha scene was really cool, and it was like wow, but it was also mechanically backwards. It wasn't as good as
you don't
the
have
core
as many
game.
moves. It's
You
a
don't.
It's a
It was
set
it was
But it- but
so
it-
cool,
but
and I
it's
liked
this-
it a
It's a
lot.
set piece.
But it's the next. But it's just like the flying thing, where it's like any other game
Yeah.
would have been even more
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
in this alternate mode.
Yeah,
Like, I
the-
would never expect an alternate mode of the main on your feet fighting to have the same moveset. You know,
The one thing about the combat though that I would fight you on is I forget what it's called, the power up mode in this game.
Umbran Climax.
Umbran Climax is OP and kind of breaks the balance of the game.
I don't care.
In the no, it's fun. It's
so
so
cool.
fun
It
to use.
feels too good.
But in the first game, you do a bunch of different stuff to each enemy. In the second game, it's the race to Umbran Climax and then Umbran Climax every time.
yeah, it feels so good.
No, it feels really, really good, but it is simplified from the first game in
Yeah.
that regard. And I think the
But
only
Madam
other
Butterfly does that big headbutt.
yeah, no, it's
Oh,
amazing.
you get to
I love
see
it.
her.
And I think the only other flaw was the ending was like a 9 in a field of platinum 10s and 11s.
My only consistent flaw the whole time is that it's
Is-
so fast and there's so many set pieces. There's a couple enemies that you barely get to fight. You
Yeah.
barely get to
Well,
fight
I
Sloth.
forget- Yeah, Sloth.
When really you should get to fight him a bit
You
more.
fight him
yeah.
twice. You fight him twice the whole game.
But
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that,
I just wanted more areas to breathe that were just longer levels that didn't have as much going on, where you just got into more fights.
but then
But there's
what
the unlockable Alpha mode
and
at
then
the
there's
end.
what
Yeah.
this game does for Rodin. You know,
He's great. No, he's
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah, Rodin's so cool.
And I know that like you guys gave
I beat him in the first game, and I didn't even come close in this one.
I know that you guys
I remember walking in on you, and you were trying to beat him, and you couldn't.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
way. He's too strong.
you guys gave Loki a lot of shit, but I really don't mind Loki at all.
Yeah, he sucks.
He sucks.
I'm fine.
I'm
with
like
it.
I'm middle. I don't really.
I'm fine
Like,
with it.
I don't
like
care either way.
Bayonetta
I don't like
2
him as an
story-
antagonist at the end though,
Yeah, sure.
because I don't think he's like he's not a cool
Bayonetta
cool
2
boss
story
like
is
that.
way more the nothing that was the story in the first one. Like, I think the story in the first one is like lazily presented.
The story in this one's a huge step up.
It's a
yeah.
huge step up, but Loki is the only like blemish where I'm like, oh, this could be better. Like, it could be better without him.
Yes.
I wanna fucking acknowledge the challenge missions.
Yeah,
They're great. Yeah.
Those are so
They're
fun.
fucking
They're
and
really
how
good.
the 2-player system actually isn't as bad as you'd think it would be.
Remember
It
when they
worked.
revealed that?
Yeah, everyone's like, oh.
It actually worked.
Yeah.
You know?
No, those modes were absolutely great, and they help combat some of the like lack of fights in the main game.
Big props on the weapon selection being way more diverse this
Oh
time.
my God.
yeah, it's massive.
Like,
It's almost unnecessarily massive.
In Bayo
yeah.
1, you had the situation where, man, like, the bazookas and the shotguns and the pistols, like, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like, the bazooka
A lot of their
was, like-
normals are the same.
And, like,
yeah.
Odette, like, some people like Odette. I didn't like the ring. And it's just
skates,
like,
yeah.
and then every single thing in this
Yeah.
is just like, oh, man, that's
And
the fucking
and then
shit.
not only did you have Jean in there for her with her own styles.
I also think Jean looks better. In the
But
second
yeah,
game.
absolutely. I think
I
Jean looks
think so too,
fantastic as
yeah.
well. I agree. But like for me, fucking Mama Netta.
Oh yeah.
That was my real MVP.
Yeah.
Picking her was amazing.
Mhm.
You know, a completely different balance in your normals as well.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
totally.
also remember that Bayonetta 2 is like good in and of itself, but it's also because of a thing they didn't bother to ask Nintendo. It's also what gave Platinum more work in Star Fox.
Yeah.
Oh
If
yeah.
they
totally.
hadn't put the Star Fox level, like, it could have happened, but that's what made Nintendo go, these motherfuckers really like Star Fox. And I love the fact that Kamiya doesn't get to work on it.
but the fact that
But now he gets to play it.
It's hilarious
Yeah.
to me.
the fact that Nintendo did what the others didn't, you know, this time around,
Mhm.
they stepped in and said, "Yo, make that game." Fucking kudos to you
or
guys.
help us with it, but
you know?
yeah, still.
Well, again,
I just think that's a fun part of
they
it.
they put money where there was nothing.
Yeah,
You know?
whatever.
God damn that.
I love all the Nintendo costumes in it too. Like all,
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
in the first one,
The
especially.
Star Fox costume's really
They're
good.
all just so much fun to
Yeah.
look at.
And before the credits roll, who do they bring back? Grace and fucking Glory.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they make sure.
Shout outs to including the first game with the second one as well.
Just putting
Yes.
it in.
It's fantastic, yeah. I think that's still available if you buy it digitally?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because good
I'm
luck
pretty
getting
sure
a
that
physical
doesn't go
copy
away.
nowadays.
Yeah, the only bummer is like, oh man, I wish Gracious and Glorious were there.
I do too, but you know,
'Cause
I'm gonna take
they
Grace
were
and Glory.
for
Yeah.
real.
For real,
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
Oh man, Bayonetta 2 is a fucking
It's just a
unbelievable game.
wonderful game. Yeah.
So
The
it's
Lumen
on.
Sage fights, dude.
So
There's
it's on.
nothing
It's
better.
third on my list. Pat's on second.
Number
one?
2.
Yeah,
So
Willie's
3,
first.
2, 1, high up because
Top
you didn't
tier.
list it. I would feel very comfortable saying that there's a bunch of overlap games like Ultimax, Guilty Gear. Help me out here. I was just looking at them, but I don't.
Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls 2.
Give me my...
Yeah, here you go.
Right. Etc. But like Bayo 2 is clearly the highest on all of our lists combined.
I think Bayo 2 and Dark Souls 2 were the best games of 2014.
Like like if Matt was way into Dark Souls, I would that'd be a little
if Dark Souls was Bloodborne,
but
next year.
Like, I think Bayo is like fucking like a full magnitude better than DS2.
Like
sure.
I enjoyed Shovel Knight more than Bayonetta, but that's because of it's not even comparable. It's because it's an aesthetic that like I loved, and even if again there was a character called Shitty Punisher Man, Godzilla sucks, I would still love.
So what's our overlap?
So of our best collection, the games with the most overlap.
Yeah, what is statistically like been voted the most amongst
DS2
all
has
of us?
3. Shovel Knight has 4. Bayo has 4.
I didn't have Shovel Knight.
Oh, you didn't?
I had Transistor
so
instead of Shovel Knight.
Has 3.
That was a fucking duel for me.
Transistor has 2.
Hyrule Warriors has 2.
Nidhogg has 2.
D4 has 2.
Yeah, but
D4 has 2.
The only one that is 4 is Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2.
Like if we were to make a best collection, I don't know how you would order all the 2s and 3s, but Bayo would be at the
2,
top.
unanimously.
It is a unanimous
favorite.
Easy recommendation. It is so goddamn
Hey, guess
good.
what? We're platinum marks.
That said, I think
whatever.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That said, I think like surprisingly, I don't think I'd point at any game and say I wouldn't recommend that. I think everyone universally was a really good pick.
A lot of the games on Matt's list and your list are games that would be 10 to 15 on my list.
Yeah, exactly.
And Woolie and mine overlap quite a bit. Like I don't think like a lot. I think mine has the most non-overlapping games, but even then,
I think so,
like you guys can point and see like there is like serious objective quality.
Yeah, I want to feel the breeze of Titanfall against my balls again.
The slight breeze of Titanfall against all of your balls was enjoyable, was it not?
It was very enjoyable.
Brought up Titanfall again. I was just like, oh man, yeah, I did really like that when we played on the video. I just never. Oh fuck.
Like, you had Far Cry 4 and New Order, and like those games are fucking awesome. They're great.
Oh wow.
But Bayo's the most like
Bayo's
that we gotta
like
most universal favorite for sure.
Like we could, if we wanted to be crazy, we could create a point system in which we label our games
and do a blind vote.
And Bayonetta 2 would like in that point system would have like 36 out of 40.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's what else is there to say?
Zaibatsu Famitsu gives it 37 out of 40.
Yes. That's a good. Fly me the.
Just suck that platinum dick.
But you know, like we're talking about all the great games, but
that's how you suck it.
Yeah, you do. You hold your hands up and you were doing the twist motion.
But it was like this.
You know exactly how to do it.
No,
gentlemen, was there any shitty games that we played or things we just didn't like?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Perhaps there were.
We're gonna make a new video about shitty games.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be
all right.
A similar video to this, probably not as long.
No,
it's gonna be about shitty games. There were some shitty games.
Woo! Some real clunkers. 2014 was a bad year for clunkers.
One of the games in this video is in that video.
Bayonetta 2.